Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back for our live watch-along for this National League North clash between Alfreton Town and Brackley Town here at St James's Park. This fixture earlier this season threw up a blockbuster 4-3 match, which ended in dramatic fashion. A last-minute winner for Brackley in that one. After their goalkeeper got sent off, Alfreton brought it back from 3-1 down, made it 3-all, but it wasn't to be in the end, and since then things have not been going the way that often would want. Alfreton have only claimed 7 points from a possible 39 in the league, but do come into this fixture off the back of a win on Tuesday night that we covered in the Derbyshire Senior Cup, getting the better of lower league Micklova 2-0 in that one. Goals coming from Matty Carson and Liam Waldock late on there, so they'll be hoping to carry the momentum into this league fixture. You may have noticed we've gone live a little bit earlier than usual today, 15 minutes before kick-off as opposed to the usual 10, and that is partly because we've got some more information to talk about regarding the team, because we've had a look at the lineup and we think there might be a change in shape here from Billy Heath, but also because we're in the mood. It's a lovely day, it's sunny, so we're not expecting as many people in the chat today because it's a lovely day. People will be out watching their football teams, but if you are here, then we hope you enjoy our coverage.
Yeah, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thank you very much. So bearing in mind as well, we are essentially underneath the tannoy here, which has proven to be rather loud when the announcements come on. We're going to run you through the teams ahead of kick-off when they come out of the tunnel, which is what we normally do. We'll try and do it then again as well, but you may not hear us. So for a precautionary standpoint, we're going to run you through the teams early on. But first, Matty, talk us through what we think's going on with the shape. It could be a diamond, it could be a 3 or a 5 back.
Yeah, so looking at what Billy's gone with today for his starting 11 is, I think the most interesting thing I picked up straight away is both Jake Day and Akil Francis are starting. So he's going with 2 up top, which almost guarantees that it is a different shape. We usually play that 3 with wingers. There's no wingers on today. Both Salmon and Abby are on the bench, so our wide options are not in the starting 11. So that led me straight away, right, what's different? So I think we've got 2 options. With the centre-backs on the pitch, we've got Wiley, who's captain today, we've got Solidemi, and we have Max Hunt.
Yep.
So that leaves us with a possible, we saw it last season around this time when the team had a little blip in form. Billy decided to go to that 5, if you remember, of it was like Wiley, Brisley and Diggy, with McDonough and Day up top. Now I think we could potentially see that come back with the back 3 of Solidemi on the left, Hunt in the middle and Wiley on the right. And then you'd have obviously Carson and Matheson keep their places from Tuesday night's 2-0 victory over Micklova, so there would be your wing backs in that system. Cantrell and Lund as your pivot, Waldock in that 10 with those 2 previously mentioned up front. But then again, I thought it was a back 3 with wing backs at Hereford, with the new loanees Matheson and Carson being the wing backs. But that wasn't what happened. We saw Solidemi come into that 6, play in the midfield. We stayed with the 4-3-3 and Solidemi went into midfield. So that was a day where I was a bit caught off guard with the shape, because I thought it was going to be a 3 at the back with the new lads. But I think either we go to that 3 back with the wing backs, 2 up top, or we potentially take a diamond with Hunt and Wiley as your 2 centre-halves, Solidemi in that 6, Matheson and Carson on your wing backs, and then you'd have London Cantrell as your 2 8s, kind of up and down the pitch in those centre mid places, covering the wings. Waldock in the 10 with the 2 up top. So I think there's 2 potential different options that team could set up. I'm excited to see how he goes, because usually I'm leaning more towards, I think he'll play the 5 back with the wing backs.
I would say
because we've seen it before. You know, Lund, Cantrell, Wiley has played in it before, Day's played in it before, Waldock's played in it before, so we've got a couple of players who have been a part of a team that's played in that 5 at the back formation before. But I think the kind of natural back 4 is what the team's most natural with, how they've played in the past. And obviously I was caught a bit off guard with Solidemi's midfield cameo at Hereford when we went there a couple of weeks ago. So I think I'm leaning towards, it'll be that 5 with the wing backs. and it'll be something of a 5-2-1-2 or a 3-4-1-2, depending on how high the wing-backs score. Or we'll see that Diamond come in and Soledemi do a job in that midfield role again. It's going to be one of the two. I can't imagine it being any other kind of way.
No.
But yeah, I think that's what we're looking out for. So to recap, do you want to read out our lineup and I'll go through the hosts?
I'd say quickly, just off the back of that, the only reason that I would also, or the main reason that I would lean towards it likely being those three central defenders with the wing backs was Soledemi's midfield cameo away at Hereford. That was in the absence of Adam Land, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
So he filled it, it's sort of, maybe that was a case of filling in that gap to have him in that kind of anchor role. But as you say, we don't know. So we'll have to decipher that once the teams take to the field in around 10 minutes' time. But yes, as we promised, we'll run you through the teams. We'll begin with Alfreton's lineup. In goal, keeping his spot from Tuesday night in the County Cup, number 28, David Robson. And the back line, in some shape or other, from right to left, you'd imagine it would be Luke Mattison on the right-hand side as one of those wing-backs. Probably Max Hunt on the right with Wiley in the middle, Soledemi on the left, and then Matty Carson as the wing-back on the opposite side. Adam Lund at the base of a midfield with George Cantrill and I'd guess Waldock on the other side. And then, as you mentioned, that two up top of Jake Day and Akil Francis. And that's the thing that excites me most about this possible lineup.
Yeah.
The two up top is something that we haven't seen for a long time, and it's a dynamic that was successful last season. And I don't know, it's just always exciting seeing those two strikers up top, because Jake Day is now going to have that man right alongside him to run off the shoulder rather than sort of being dependent on those wingers on either side. He's going to have somebody right up next to him, a partner in crime.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're going to be seeing a successful dynamic there between Francis and Day. And then the five-man bench for the Reds, number 23, Nathan Newell, 5, Adam Anson, 11, Lewis Salmon, 14, Jed Abbey, and 25, Sam Osborne. So there are certainly the options to change things up on the bench. Osborne, Abbey and Salmon, all wide options. Obviously Abbey can play in the middle as well. And then Anson and Newell, some defenders. Newell's played on either side of that back line.
I could see Osborne in a wing-back role.
I'd say, yeah, if it's a game where Alfreton are chasing it, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Osborne came on in a wing-back role. If it's the opposite way, or even if it's, either way, I think Nathan Newell could probably do a job going forward. We've seen him in the final third, proving his worth. And then, would you like to take us through the Brackley side?
Yeah, I was going to say just quickly as well on the Jake Day, Akil Francis link up top. We spoke about in Jake Day's absence with that kind of sprained ankle injury he had up at Scarborough. Akil Francis came in against Warrington last Saturday and was fantastic. He was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I give him man of the match, and I was impressed again with him on Tuesday. But it's one of them. It's really hard to keep Jake Day out of the team because he's so good at this level, and what he does is so good and so important to this team. So I'm excited because Francis, he's a pressing forward. He gets after his men at the back, so it'll be really, really interesting, and I'm excited to see how that goes. But as promised, our hosts line up the season as following in number order. Number 1, Johnny Maxted. Number 2, George Carline, who scored the winner in this fixture last year. Number 6 and captain, Gareth Dean. 10, Morgan Roberts. 11, Matt Lowe. 14, and hashtag Academy winner, Scott Pollock. 15, Tyler Little with a Y, not an I. 17, Justin Donawa. 19, Zach Lilly. 23, Shane Bryn. 27, Connor Hall. And on the bench is 3, Ricardo Calder. 8, Alfie Bates. 9, Danny Newton. 18, Tommy O'Sullivan. And 22, Miracle Okafor.
Great name.
Is just on if anyone doesn't get my Scott Pollock hashtag United Academy winner, it was a YouTube series back when we were little boys, little kids back in the day, where hashtag United, who were more well known now than they were back then, ran a little academy series for their Sunday League team, which is obviously now the football club I'm not sure if everyone knows, but the more famous football club now. And Scott Pollock was the winner of that. Played for that team for about half a season before he was then scouted by Northampton. Went up there for a bit, had a couple of games, and then he's kind of bounced around at Boston, Yeovil, and now Brackley, who are joint top of the National League North, only behind Chester by 2 goal difference, but they do have a game in hand, so this is going to be a big ask for Alfreton today, who have really fell and spiralled all the way down the league table since Christmas.
Yeah, well, Alfreton, as you say, it's going to be a tough game. Not a fantastic record against Brackley over the last 10 years or so, it has to be said. The last win here at St James's Park came in 2018, and the last win against Brackley at all was 3 years ago in 2022, and that was courtesy of a Matt Reed penalty. Obviously, we'll have come away from that 4-3 defeat this season thinking, how have we not won that game? You know, bringing it back to 3-3 with them down to 10 men without a goalkeeper. But can we change those fortunes today? Time will tell. About 5 minutes until kick-off here. We are seeing the ground fill up on this sunny day in March. We've seen a lot of people hover around in front of us as well, which, I mean, no doubt as well. I'm just looking up at the tannoy, dreading when that's going to come on.
Just quickly as well, I thought we'd talk about Billy's completely neutral record now.
Yes, very, very surprising.
So just before we went on the stream today, we went through Billy's fixture record, all of the games he's played, and what his record is, wins, draws and losses, including county cup games and all the stuff that the online sites don't track. And Billy has managed 304 matches for Alfreton, winning 117, drawing 70 and losing 117. Yeah. So he's got a completely neutral record. So I'm sure he would rather be positive than negative. So I'm sure if he knew that, he'd be hoping a little bit more. I'm not sure how aware he is of his record, including every match he's managed other than pre-season friendlies, but that's a fun little statistic to be thrown out there to keep in mind.
Well, Brackley at the setup here, as we mentioned when we got in, a lovely little setup. We've got
great
a nice
view as well, isn't it?
I'm going to say great view of the pitch. Over. We're protected as well. We've got a little bit of a screen in front of us if I just want comes towards us.
They're getting a strong 9 out of 10, maybe 8 for media facilities. We got there, we spoke to a very nice old lady, didn't we, at the ticket office. She printed us off a ticket. She said, give that to the press guy, he'll let you in. That was well easy. Not like Hereford, where you've got to go on a wild goose chase for 70 hours to find your way into the ground. We got in fairly easily. The entrance right next to the media zone. We come up, plenty of power supply, internet works fine so far, everything absolutely fantastic. So they've got a very high score. Yeah, I'm sure you can hear this fella screaming over me as the tannoy is right above us. Yeah, but I'm sure that's cueing that the players are about to come out.
Well, there they are. The players take to the field. Alfreton Town in their blue and grey away strip, obviously changing from their usual red, which would clash with Brackley's red and white stripes, and we're going to hear the teams read out by the man on the PA system. We hope you can still hear us. We're going to continue on the basis that you can. So if you are just tuning in, I'll run you back through the Alfreton team very quickly as it's listed on the team sheet. Number 28, David Robson. 33, Luke Mattison. 34, Matty Carson. 29, David Solademi. 6 and captain Dwayne Wiley. 3 Max Hunt. 4 Adam Lund. 8 George Cantrell. 9 Jake Day. 32 Akil Francis. 10 Liam Waldock, and on the bench 23 Nathan Newell. 5 Adam Anson. 11 Lewis Salmon. 14 Jed Abbey, and 25 Sam Osborne.
And our host lineup as followed: number 1 Johnny Maxted, 2 George Carlyle, 6 and captain Gareth Dean, 10 Morgan Roberts, 11 Matt Lowe, 14 Scott Pollock, 15 Tyler Little, 17 Justin Denawa, 19 Zach Lilly, 23 Shane Byrne, 27 Connor Hall, and on the benches 3 Ricardo Calder, 8 Alfie Bates, 9 Danny Newton, 18 Tommy O'Sullivan, and 22 Miracle Okafor. Time for the moment of truth. How are we setting up this afternoon?
Let's see.
It looks like Solademi's gone
to the left of the
left of a back 3.
Hunt's over here on the right. Dwayne Wiley obviously not in position at the moment. He's meeting with the referee in the centre circle as the role of captain, the 2 number 6s.
Jake Day is starting again. He's going around high-fiving everyone, getting up the lads for the game. He's been sorely missed these last couple of weeks with that injury, but I'm glad he's back sooner than we expected as well, because it was figured 6 weeks was the murmurs on the bus back from Scarborough, but he's back quicker than expected. He's been a huge miss. Francis has done very well in his place in that time, and I'm excited to see how they get along together. The Alfreton players kind of grouped up, so we can't see the shape right now, but if you are just tuning in, we've deduced from the team sheet that is potentially either a 5-2-1-2 or a 3-4-1-2, however you want to call it, with those wing backs, 3 at the back, and Jake Day and Akil Francis up front, or it will be a diamond with the back four and Solidemi coming into midfield, just like he did at Hereford.
If we ask you please to be upstanding for a moment.
No, we've been asked to stand up.
Football is a sport for all, and our participation in whatever form brings people and communities together. The incident in Cumbria this week brings us even closer together, as we mark our respect for 10-year-old Poppy Atkinson, who innocently lost her life this week playing the game she loved.
Well, as you may have been able to tell, we've had a well-observed minute silence there just ahead of kick-off, which is why, if you've just tuned in, you've been looking at our sort of waistlines on the camera. There's nothing else going on, don't worry. But we should be underway very shortly. Brackley forming a little team huddle between themselves will bring you the news of the Alfreton Town shape as soon as we get it. It's obviously going to be a little bit distorted from kick-off. We've got Adam Lund standing
like
over
three,
it.
doesn't
I
it?
think it is going to be that 3. We are seeing Wiley, Solidemi and Max Hunt.
Looks like
alongside
Wiley's going
each
in the
other.
middle, which does make sense. He's the most two-footed, but Max Hunt is a left-footed centre-half playing on the right, so I thought we would have seen him in the middle, especially with his stature as well.
I was going to say, I guess it kind of, but then you can look at it from the perspective that Solidemi's had the most experience on the left in this Alfreton side, been playing at left-back a couple of times as well.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the way that Billy was looking at it.
In the back three at Alfchurch as well, a struggling Alfchurch. He was on the left of a back three there, and as far as we've heard, his time at Alfchurch, he was left hung out to dry by his wing back more often than not. So
referee gets the checks done with the goalkeepers. Adam Lund standing over the kick-off here at St James's Park. The whistle is blown and we are underway, but I think some of the Alfreton players on the far side there taking some liberties. They're about 10 yards into the Brackley half before Adam Lund takes the kick-off, so we're going to have a little rerun of that. Get away 3 minutes after 3 o'clock, and there we go. Referee's happy with it that time. Lundy rolls it back to Max Hunt, goes for the direct route down the left-hand side immediately over towards Waldock, bounces out for a Brackley throw inside their half. That is the first action of the game, and yeah, we left off just ahead of kick-off talking about the setup here. You going an 8 or 9 out of 10? We got power behind us, 2 plug sockets, you know, much more than we've seen at some grounds this season. You know, the power supply has been limited in certain places. Sometimes it's been set on fire, like away at Warrington.
yeah, we nearly burned.
Yeah, there was some arson in the press box that day, but we got on fine until the injury time in the second half. But Brackley, nice facilities. As I've been to the ground earlier this season. I think this is the first time I've been to a ground where I've followed both Alfreton and Braintree. I came for a rare game where the Braintree and Alfreton schedules didn't clash, FA Cup fixture, and I left here a very sad man as we fell out of the FA Cup on penalties at the hands of Brackley. So Alfreton can hopefully brighten those spirits a little bit as Adam Lund prepares the first of what you'd imagine to be many long throws into the box this afternoon, headed away by Gareth Dean at that front post. Carson looking to recycle, get it back in there towards Hunt. Dean heads away for a second time. Brackley look to clear their lines, but Solidemi pinches it. Recycled back to the halfway line though by Waldock, now with Matteson. Shifted across to his wing-back partner Carson. Looks to clip that one long towards Jake Day, but it's a little short. And Brackley have possession for the first real time this afternoon. Justin Noah looking to switch the play, but it's caught in the wind and slightly beyond his target, Zach Lilly. They will get there, goes long down the right-hand side. It was aimed at Matt Lowe, goal scorer for Brackley this season and the eventual game winner in the reverse fixture this season for Brackley against Alfreton. Solidemi challenged him well though, and Alfreton come away with the ball through Jake Day. Looks to poke the ball round the corner, and there's a contested ball between the number 9 Day and Scott Pollock for Brackley. And the hosts earning the free kick there just inside their own half to the right hand side of the centre circle, as Day looked to feed the ball through over the top for his strike partner today, Akil Francis. And I think as the game's gone on, it does look like it is going to be that back three or back five, however you want to look at it, with the midfield three and Day and Francis as the pairing up top. Although of that pairing, only Francis left forward for this Brackley free kick. Every man for Alfreton is back on that defensive line. Day gets his head to it first. Matteson further clear. Now with Solidemi, who's got his right knee strapped up in some tape.
David.
Good work though, doesn't deter him as he beats his man, then prods the ball away to George Cantrell. Into Adam Lund, who's got a little bit of space, shifted across to Carson inside the Alfreton half. Knocked back to the skipper, Dwayne Wiley. He's seen Jake Day and he's also seen Matteson on that far side. Tries that diagonal pass and it's intercepted by Justin Denau, but he doesn't get the connection that he would have wanted on that one, and it sort of ricocheted off of his chest for an Alfreton throw, which Adam Lund will stroll on over and prepare to take from the right-hand side, probably about 25 yards from the byline.
It's an important touch from Denawa there. It's one of them, if he doesn't get something on it at all, Matheson's got time and space to set himself and get across into the area.
Adam Lund does toss this throw in towards the front post. It's flicked on. Cantrell trying to make something of it. Wiley sends it goalwards. Not too much conviction on it though, and that's not too difficult for Johnny Maxted to claim and make his first save of the afternoon. Ball in the gloves of the man in yellow on the edge of his box.
Safe to say it's definitely a 3 now, by the way, as well. Definitely that.
Yeah, it looks to be that way for sure.
5-2-1-2 that we thought, with Cantrell and Lund sitting.
Maxted goes long. That ball's going to go all the way into the box of David Robson. So we've gone goalkeeper to goalkeeper there. And Robson now has his...
I think he'll roll it out and then go along.
After seeing that, he's probably just about against the wind here in this first half. It's not a windy day by any stretch, but there's a little breeze. And judging by the way that ball travelled and the trees behind the ground, well, it's a
shocking kick.
Horribly miscued kick by Robson, goes straight into the midfield. And thankfully the Alfreton players managed to keep hold of it. Eventually worked its way back to Lund, looks to clip one over the top for Francis on the right. Waldock does intercept to keep things alive. Adam Lund tries that same pass towards Francis. Caught up in the wind a little bit. Carline does get there for Brackley. And I'll be slightly obstructed, but it's poked out for an Alfreton throw. George Carline doing his best to get things clear and sweep up for the Brackley defence. But the best he could do was put it out for an Alfreton throw, which is not what you want to be doing. We've not seen a goal from an Adam Lund throw for quite some time now. Could we change things here? Adam Lund prepares that javelin throw into the area, and it does find the head of Dwayne Wiley, who peeled in from the edge of the area. He got there, got his head to it, but doesn't quite catch it right, and that one sails over the crossbar, over the stand, and out of the ground. Will be a goal kick to Brackley once the ball makes its way from the bench to Maxted in between the sticks.
Rude Hullet over there.
I was going to say, yeah, that's an that's a great little retro shirt.
This fella's got a retro
Netherlands. Was that a Chelsea one?
No,
yeah, it's got the core sponsorship. It's a Chelsea one.
with Hullet on the bar.
Yeah, that is...
Rude's come to see the Often.
It's a deep pull.
He's grown a beard.
Yes, and lost his hair. Maxted goes long from that goal kick. It's flicked on by Pollock, looking for Hall. Back into the midfield though. Brackley forced to try and recycle it. Pollock again knocks it out to the right-hand side. Tries to play it back inside to Hall. Now back with the midfield man, Morgan Roberts. Shifts it across to Donauer. Looks to get it beyond Matteson. Does get past him. Tries the shot on his right foot, but it's cleared away by Hunt. And the clearance does find Jake Day. He's tried his best to make something of it, but Day judged to be a little too handsy with that one by George Carline. Gives him a little bit of a shove afterwards, and the referee just asks him to calm down. He takes the free kick quickly, but he's not allowed to do so. The referee still wants to have a word with the two of them, and Jake Day, I think his laces have come undone, so the referee's going to, nicely enough, give him some time to retie those before Shane Byrne takes this free kick. Slap bang on the halfway line for Brackley. Day's quite helpfully for Alfreton decide to tie his shoes right in front of where the free kick was, so you can't penalise him for obstructing the play, but that is what he's doing. Gives Alfreton time to set up their defensive shape before the free kick is taken. And I mean, I don't know how long his laces are, but he's not quite done yet. The referee's still talking to Jake Day.
He's giving him a final warning. He said there's one over there and one in here now, so that's 2 fouls he's given away.
It's his second foul, neither of which were malicious by any stretch, but you know, a couple more of those and you kind of walk your way into a booking.
I think that was a final warning, to be honest, the way the referee pointed.
Well, Brackley do take this free kick. They go short to Donauer, then over to the right-hand side, the left-hand side, sorry, from Brackley's perspective. Recycled back to Donauer, and eventually all the way back into the centre circle with Byrne again. Comes across to Donauer.
I can't fault him.
Tries to play it through towards Hall, cleared away, and that one ricochets off of Luke Matteson. Didn't know too much about that. Out for a Brackley throw. Justin Donauer with the ball in his arms. He's got Roberts in front of him. He's also got George Carline in some space, who he goes to. Plays a 1-2. Donauer looks to clip it in behind. Hunt gets his head to it, but it almost ends up being a flick on for Brackley. And Dwayne Wiley forced to use his body there to shepherd that one out for a goal kick. A few Brackley fans behind the goal expecting a corner, but the referee, Matt Scholes, disagrees, points to the 6-yard box to indicate a goal kick for David Robson to take, who's kept his spot from the County Cup game on Tuesday night. The former Hull City man takes that goal kick. Much better connection on it than before. Up towards Day, gets the flick on. Spins off of his head though, bit of backspin, takes it straight through to Maxted in the Brackley goal. The man sent off in the reverse fixture earlier this season. He's going to hope to not repeat that feat, I'd imagine.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you?
I was going to say from his perspective, yeah. I doubt he's going into this game going, you know, I'd really like to replicate my previous performance against Alfreton. Although his team did come away with the win in the end, so maybe that's some sort of lucky charm. And his kick eventually goes long. Hall was the target, but it's headed out by Alfreton for a Brackley throw into the feet of Roberts. His pass is short, and he does get it back though. And eventually that's Matty Carson, I think, who stepped in to try and win it back. His challenge was slightly late, left a trailing leg. The referee awards that free kick. Morgan Roberts initially stands over it, but leaves duties to his teammate. I think that's George Carline over there on that far side. No, he's made his way over to into the box. And the free kick, I was going to say that looked like it was going to be taken short to Byrne, but he's told him to stop, not to do that, and send it into the box. Tried a little sly one down the line towards Matt Lowe. Turns on it on the right-hand side of the box. Laid back to Byrne. Oh, and he's miscued that one horribly. It took a little bobble as it reached him. Adam Lund taking safe measures just to clear that one away. Waldock trying to nip in and set Alfreton away on the break. Carson does get there first. Tries to send it over the top towards Francis. Oh, and it's another miscued clearance. Francis gets there first and he hits the crossbar. With a half chance it looked like it was going to be, but the defender for Brackley gets it all wrong. The number 19, Zach Lilly, tried to send that one far and away, but it sort of bubbled and bounced underneath his boot and allows for Francis to snap a shot. And he tries to lift it over Johnny Maxted, who's come out of his goal, and that one's just bounced off the crossbar and into the stand behind the goal.
Awful one for a centre-half when you're running towards your own goal like that. Striker's hunting you down right on your heels. He's trying to hook it clear, but the ball's bouncing. He doesn't get the connection he wants, and he falls. Akil nicks it, but it kind of comes off the back of the defender who's on the floor, and it bounces up, and Akil's just got to take it first time on his left foot, and it looked like I thought he'd put it wide, but then it just come crashing off the crossbar.
It's a weird shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, and up and over and out for a goal kick. But it's a great ball from Matty Carson because he gave them a lot to think about, and it was well won by Liam Waldock, well fought in the midfield to keep possession and create that chance. And I think that's the first big chance of the game, and it's gone in Alfreton's favour. Always
a positive sign against the team joint top in the league, second but with a game in hand on Chester, both on 67 points. But yeah, Akil Francis with the first big chance of the game. His shot just bouncing off the crossbar and into the AGP end as Brackley look to come forward themselves. Ball lifted up to the back post by Donawa. Eventually Alfreton do deal with it, cleared away, and Francis does his best to get there. He nips there. I was going to say nips in front of Zach Lilly. Gets to the ball first and is eventually upended, wins that free kick for Alfreton to relieve some pressure inside their own half. Brackley quick to get forward themselves. Donawa looks like the biggest threat for them at the moment down that left channel up against Luke Matheson. He's got beyond him a couple of times, got shot away earlier on, and that time goes the other side of him, opts to stay out wide and lift the cross in towards the back post, towards the head of Matt Lowe, who kind of nodded it back into the area, but it was contested well by Often and cleared away eventually. David Robertson will take this free kick between the edge of the box and the halfway line in the Alfreton half. Seeing Max Hunt stride forward alongside Jake Day in that kind of right channel with Mattison right out on the wing. Forward it goes, flicked on by Hunt into the box. Francis, does he keep it in play? He does, but slips in the process and can't keep possession. Brackley clear their lines, but that one's going to be out for a throw as it bounces out right in front of us, in front of the press stand.
It's a good position this for Adam Lund. Francis does well to keep it in, he does the right thing. It's easy for strikers to kind of give up on that and let it run out. Does well, keeps it in, slips in the process so he can't keep it under possession because he's stretching. But
going to say he's just stopped the goal kick, isn't he?
Yeah, Brackley are there now. They've got the ball deep in their own, and they're in their own box or in the corner, and they've got no voice but to punt it, and it goes out of play. And this is a good chance for Lundy to throw it into the area.
Well, Adam Lund prepares this long throw. It's only Carson and Mattison back for the Reds. In it goes towards Hunt, but it's cleared away and eventually hoofed clear by Brackley up towards Roberts. The one man left forward, and he does get his head to it up against Carson. Roberts still in possession on that right flank. Carson looks to stick a foot in, but Brackley still have it. It's with Little.
Wiley's limping.
Knocked back to Byrne. Looks to slide it through. It's a nice little flick. Oh, and the shot does come in from Matt Lowe inside the area, but he drags it just wide.
I won't be surprised if Wiley goes down here.
Of the near post, and yeah, as you've pointed out, spotted on that Brackley counter-attack, Dwayne Wiley is limping. So hopefully, I mean, if that's not something that he can run off, we may see...
He's still limping.
Adam Anson introduced, and I was going to say he's walking quite gingerly on that left leg, whether it's something on his leg or his foot. We didn't quite catch anything severe.
He was trying to run back for that counter-attack to get into defence, but you could just see him limping the whole way back.
Well, the goal kick is taken by Robson up towards Day. Gets the flick on, and Francis...
He was onside as well.
I was going to say, was onside. Byrne nipped back in there, though, to get it clear. Brackley get away with one there. With the clearance flicked on by Solidemi and smashed out of play by Dwayne Wiley. Adam Anson is out there to warm up with his bib on, so whether that's precautionary or in expectance of a change, we will see. But for now, Dwayne Wiley carries on.
Yeah, well, if he goes down, he'll probably have to come off the way he was limping now if he's not run it off. I'm not sure what it could have been because it was from that long throw into the box, or maybe it was just a collision with another player.
Well, Jake Day looks to poke the ball around the corner for Francis, just to put it into a good area, but Zach Lilly gets there first to clear. Now with Byrne. Pollock, up the line it goes. Solidemi tries to get a foot on it. Brackley could be in, but Max Hunt comes across well to dispossess Matt Lowe. Prodded out for a Brackley throw on that far side. From our viewpoint, it's taken quickly into the feet of Pollock. challenged by George Cantrell, out for another Brackley throw. And the manager, Gavin Cowan, chucks it to his player, looks to get the play underway quickly, but made to wait. Gareth Dean makes his way forward for this throw, although it now eventually is taken. Little comes across to Byrne, thought about giving it back, turns on it twice, looks to clip it down the line, headed away by Carson, only as far as Pollock, whose header forward is a little too far for a Brackley player to get onto. And Alfreton Town clear their lines, headed away, but eventually hooked back down the line by Brackley, over towards Connor Hall. Made to work for it by David Solodemi. Hall with his foot on it in the corner, looks to turn his way out of trouble. Into Pollock, still on that right side. Carson eventually sticks a foot in, prods it out for a Brackley throw. Level with the edge of the box on the right-hand side. We have now seen Adam Anson, though, still out to warm up, but Dwayne Wiley doesn't look to be as visibly in pain, so hopefully it is just a little impact thing that he's been able to run off with relative ease. As Brackley prepare this throw from the right-hand side, both centre-halves make their way into the area. Captain Gareth Dean, probably the man to watch out for. Connor Hall's got some height on him as well. Matt Lowe, a target. And it comes from that right-hand side. And Robson comes out to claim that one. It was right in front of this big red pillar in front of me, so I didn't quite...
It was a bit clumsy. He came out, threw his arms up in the air, and they kind of just hit them, and it looked like he was going to drop it, but he managed to get his arms back down and cup it into his chest before it bounced, which saved any danger from happening, but it gave me a bit of a fright for a moment or two.
Well, nonetheless, Robson gratefully claims that one. Little drop kick from the right-hand corner of his box over towards Day, and it is headed away by George Carline, only as far as an Alfreton throw. That's probably the desired outcome from that position. Put it into a dangerous area, making the defender think about it, so much so that the only thing they can do is nod it out for a throw-in, which is as good as a corner, really, for Alfreton. Once again, we're seeing Matteson and Carson stay back to occupy the number 10, Morgan Roberts. Every other player on the pitch inside that Brackley box. Cantrell takes up the position on the edge. Throw-in comes in from Adam Lund. It's onto the goalkeeper, Maxted.
It's a foul on the keeper, if anything.
I was going to say, he does well to claim it. Gets a little push from Akil Francis, who challenges the ball, but still keeps the ball in his grasp. So the referee doesn't give the foul, because it's pretty much the same outcome anyway. Carline forced back to his goalkeeper. Maxted knocked it across to Donauer on that left-hand side of the defence. Patient in possession, looks to clip that one down the line and send Connor Hall through, but that one's a little wayward. Out for an Alfreton throw inside their own half, kind of between the box and the halfway line again. Matteson looking to assume duties on this one. As Robson chucks the ball his way. Yep. Seeing Day and Francis take that position up on the kind of right wing in the channel.
Brackley are just trying to play through those channels, aren't they? They'll get those runners diagonal. It looks like they are playing a diamond.
Well, Matteson takes this throw, good bit of distance on it, headed away by Carline. Into the chest of Adam Lund, though, sends it forward, flicked on by Day for Francis to chase. And eventually it's good work from the number 19, Zach Lilly, to just see that one out for a Brackley goal kick. Didn't have too much to do, but had the body of Francis to deal with. Did enough to just shepherd that one out of play. Johnny Maxted places the ball on the right-hand side of his 6-yard box before he takes this goal kick. Forward it comes from the man in yellow. It's up towards Pollock, headed away by Hunt. Drops into the midfield area. Cantrell contests that one. Byrne clears that one. I'm not too sure how much he knew about it. He wasn't looking at the ball when he did it. The ball now, bit of a scrap in the midfield. And so it continues. Cantrell dives in, but Brackley come away with possession in the form of Pollock. Tries to play it down the line, but Dwayne Wiley intercepts, opts to keep it in play before clearing it down the line. Pollock blocks the clearance and smashes it out with his head for a Alfreton Town throw deep inside their own half.
I'm not quite sure why Wiley had that in. He could have just let it run. It would have been a Alfreton goal kick. He decides to keep it in and try and kind of turn out and whack it down the line, and he did the hard bit, and he couldn't get the height on the clearance, and now Alfreton have a throw in their own half. Luckily, Solademi's got a decent launch on him to get it away.
Well, it does go forward, but it's cleared away immediately by Dean into the gloves of David Robson, so a breather for Alfreton again. And if you are just joining us, we're just over 20 minutes into this one. Score is 0-0. Only real chances of note for either side. Akil Francis had a bit of a half chance, which ended up bouncing off the top of the crossbar. Brackley probably had the lion's share of possession, but only just. Alfreton Town gave them a lot to think about. You probably wouldn't look at this fixture so far and go one-sider joint top, one-sider in the bottom half. As Jake Day flicks the ball into the area, Waldock chasing that one. Carline gets it clear. I think he's lucky there. Jake Day wanted to get onto that one, but it was just fell into the wrong area for him. Sent back forward. Day knocks that one on with his thigh. And another miscued clearance.
Very lucky
from George Carline,
Jammy.
but it ends up being a good pass for Donow, who's got space to drive into down this left-hand side. Up against Adam Lund. Checks back. Rolls it back to midfield man Byrne, who's got one of the back three to look for. Drops it back to his skipper, Gareth Dean. Byrne again. Comes across to Carline, who got away with that clearance. Now Roberts, who's drifted over to the left. Carline still with the ball inside the Brackley half. Now back to the centre with Dean. Across to Lilly. Pollock now goes back to his goalkeeper, Maxted, who opts to go long, puts an end to that passing. Applause from the manager. Gavin Cowan headed away and eventually kept in by Carson. Looks to hook that one round the corner down the line towards Francis, and he will give chase. Gives Dean a lot to think about, and he heads it back to his goalkeeper. Maxted was in a good position to claim that one. I think he read the play well, because he knew Dean was going to have to sort of lean down and head that, because he can't pass it back to him. Eventually Brackley deal with it, roll it out. Back with Byrne in that midfield. Little Cruyff turn to get away from Jake Day, drops it back to Carline on the left of the defence. Donow drops in, looking to spread the play a little bit as far to the touchline as he can. Carline looks to clip that one in behind. It's a good run from Matt Lowe. Gets there beyond Wiley. Has the ball on the left wing. Tries to slide it in towards Roberts, who's inside the area now. Challenged by Max Hunt, though, and he does just enough. The ball does trickle beyond him, but Max Hunt gets enough on that one to slow the shot down. Not sure there really was a shot in the end, to be honest, but it kind of trickled through the pair of them into the gloves of Robson. Has the ball in his hands, drops it to his feet. Opts against the kind of drop kick. This time just knocks it out of his box ever so slightly. And looks to go long up towards Day and Francis. Headed away by Dean. Matson gets there first, though, bravely heading that one. Back with Waldock, Lund. Back to Solademi across to the halfway line. Looks to just go round into a area for Francis to chase. Oh, he does
nearly nicks it.
Nearly nicks it off of Lilly, but Maxted claims that one to his gratitude in the end.
Worth mentioning as well, a little score update. 23rd place, Farsley Celtic, are currently 1-0 up against South Shields, as well as Warrington beating bottom of the league Rush Hall 1-0, and top of the league Chester 2-1 up against 6th place Charlie, to the dismay of the Brackley fans in this ground.
Have we got a goal at Needham Market yet?
No, it's that still 0-0. Every other game still level pegging.
Well, Maxted's ball forward eventually trickles out for an Alfreton throw, taken back towards Robson. Clears over to Day, does get his head to it. Francis keeps that one in. I think it was going to bounce out for an Alfreton throw, but yeah, had to gamble on it. Flag does go up from the assistant referee. Free kick to Brackley inside their own half deep, kind of on that, you know, brink of where the defensive third becomes the midfield third. Maxted carries the ball forward. I think he's going to be the one to take it. And again, we're seeing Day and Francis left forward. The rest of the Alfreton team back to occupy the Brackley front line. Maxted stands over this one. Referee blows his whistle. Forward it comes.
This is
from the goalkeeper.
Tape on his face.
Linesman's taped the headset to his face there. That is high level officiating.
The linesman's taped his microphone to his head. When he comes past, look past him, he's got his tape to his face. Sorry.
It's all right, mate. Worth pointing out. Say what you see.
If you see it, say it. Keith Lemon.
Well, the ball eventually did work its way back to Maxted, whose clearance ricocheted in that midfield. Brackley now with the ball on the floor with Tyler Little on the right-hand side near the halfway line. It's with Byrne. Looks to clip that one over the top. Looks for Pollock, but that one's going to run through Wiley. Just puts his body between the ball and Pollock before Robson comes across to claim it. Ball in the gloves of the man in purple, who's kept his place. Started a few games in the league on his arrival from Rochdale, but eventually lost his place to Jake Askew. Was reinstated into the side for that County Cup fixture on Tuesday night and kept a clean sheet, and in Billy Heath's view has done enough to maintain that spot in the league. As he goes long up towards Day, Adam Lund stepping in to try and win it back off of Roberts. But number 10 looks to shimmy away. Adam Lund eventually puts a foot in, does win it, but Brackley get the clearance in. Only as far as Wiley, though, flicked on by Matteson towards Francis, who I think has kept himself onside on the right wing.
Just can't keep it in.
It's just about made its way out of play. The ball's run away from him. Out for a Brackley Town goal kick.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the ground was expecting Matheson to kind of head it into that area.
No.
In behind. Akil Francis was flat-footed as that ball went. He did well to kind of set off first, realise where the ball had gone and get after it, but despite being quick, he wasn't quick enough to get there and keep it in play and get the cross into the area.
No, well, it's going to be another goal kick for the Saints. Maxter prepared to take this one. Not been a whole lot in the game, I think it's safe to say so far. Both sides sort of feeling each other out. Been a little bit of long ball from both teams. Deadlock yet to be broken. Brackley come away with the ball on the left-hand side. It's with Roberts advancing into the midfield third up against Matheson. Looks to get a crossing on his left foot, but Matheson slams that door shut. Out for a Brackley Town throw right by the corner flag. It's going to be Denauer to take it, I think. Just in that kind of obstructed view from us, but I think it is Denauer.
Yeah, he's got that long throw. He went right over the far side to take one earlier. He's
taken the throw-ins from both sides, so we've seen both centre-halves again for Brackley head forward. Dean is in there, Carline's in there. Denauer makes us wait for the throw. Referee's got a keen eye on the men in the box. In comes the throw towards that front post. It bounces at the near post, and eventually referee blows his whistle towards Alfreton, the free kick. Brackley players and fans alike not happy with that one. I think the man ended up on the floor for Brackley. The clearance from an Alfreton player was blocked. I don't know if that was...
I think it was obstruction. He kind of dived to try and head it, turn it towards goal, but he kind of landed on top of the ball, which resulted in the clearance from Alfreton just kind of not moving. Yeah. That's all, because he was on top of the ball, and kind of resulted in a bit of a scramble in the area, which the referee decided to give obstruction for.
Puts an end to that spell for Brackley, which looked a bit dangerous. You know, when the ball bounces at the front post in a contested area like that, that's never good. It always spells a little bit of danger. So Alfreton breathe a sigh of relief as Robson clears that ball long down to the right flank, headed away by a Brackley defender, eventually further clear by Carline. Solidemi and Wiley disagree on who's going for that one, but thankfully Robson on hand to deal with it as it bounces into his area. Man in purple takes time before dropping the ball onto the edge of his own area. He's going to wait for the pressure of Connor Hall, which is a brisk jog, which turns into a walk. Robson eventually goes long once again towards Jake Day, who was the intended target, but Dean heads that one clear. Uncontested. Max Hunt challenging Matt Lowe for that header and had both arms around his man. Referee gives Brackley the free kick inside their own half. Both Adam Lund and Francis. Little bit of gamesmanship to delay the free kick just a tad, but not enough to get booked or get a word from the referee. Brackley do take it though. Carline has it on the left-hand side, comes across to Roberts. Brackley once again patient in possession. Roberts waiting for Denauer to make himself available, but eventually opts to go back to Carline, switches across to Lilly on that right-hand side of the defence, still in their own half. Now crossing the halfway line with Little. Clearance comes in from Carson, and it's bounced on the line, but it must have crossed it before bouncing back into the pitch. Linesman's flag was raised for a Brackley throw on the halfway line.
Just to come on to the two up front partnership, what I'm seeing so far is I'm liking it. I can see the potential. It might take a couple of games for Day and Francis to kind of get an understanding of each other, but from what I'm seeing, it's got serious potential to see them two up top.
No. Brackley eventually do take this throw from Little. Plays the 1-2 with Roberts. Cantrell puts an end to it though, clears it long into the Brackley half. No Alfreton man there to challenge it though. Dean brings it across to Carline. Now to Roberts. Danawa makes that run. Played into the feet of Hall though, up against Hunt. Laid back, but Connor Hall sells Roberts short. Eventually works well though to maintain possession. Carline back into the feet of Hall, and
he's bought it, but he's done well to sell it.
Yeah, he goes down quite easily, but it probably is a foul in the end from Max Hunt. Connor Hall hits the deck. The referee awards Brackley that free kick right in front of us on that left flank inside the Alfreton half. Danawa looks like he's going to leave this one for the number 23, Shane Byrne. Referee makes sure he takes it from exactly where he wants it to be taken from. And Waldock, the kind of wall, if you can call it that. Every other player for Alfreton outside of Francis back to deal with the Brackley front line once again. Byrne goes long in towards the right-hand side of the area, headed away by Day. Knocked back into the area by Little. Carson gets something on it. Waldock furthers the clearance. And eventually Little forced to go all the way back to his goalkeeper Maxted inside his own box. Francis applying a little bit of pressure. Maxted ends up playing a 1-2 with Little on that far side. And Johnny Maxted happy to keep the ball as he waits for his side to regain shape. Danawa makes his way over from that right-hand side. Carline has it on the left. Into Byrne, dropped back to Danawa once more. Carline again. Infield to Roberts, who's up against Lund. Quick feet from the number 10, but Matteson steps in well to win it back. Adam Lund has to help out. And Alfreton now with possession. Waldock turned to face the play. Ended up going back to Hunt, who flips it long towards Francis, headed away by Lilly. Eventually prodded out wide by Matt Lowe. Sent forward by Byrne. Cantrell tries to win it, falls over in the process, but Wiley assures the back line, comes across, chests it down and clears it. Over the gantry on the far side from here. Out for a Brackley throw. When Alfreton so far shutting down the strike force of Connor Hall and Matt Lowe. Both have scored double digits this season for Brackley, so that's no mean feat. Here is one of them, Matt Lowe, up against Solidemi on that left-hand side. Turns forward, turns backwards, tries to lay it off, but Waldock happy to pick his pocket. Cantrell, firm challenge to maintain possession. Touch let him down a little bit and he had to dive in, but strong tackle from the number 8. Laid it back to Robson, who's passed down the right channel. Was ambitious for Matteson to run onto. It's going to roll out for a Brackley throw.
Yeah, Robson was just a bit too calm there for me. He had a striker right in front of him and his touch wasn't great, and that because he was kind of being too nonchalant about the whole thing. He's got the ball, touch isn't great, he's not rushed to get it back under control, and then when the striker's coming he's been forced to take the kick a little bit rushed.
Well, 10 minutes to go in this first half. If you are just tuning in, things are still level here, 0-0 in this first half. Not too many chances for either side at all.
Francis hitting the bar though, which was the big talking point of this first half.
Probably the biggest chance so far. Brackley have had the lion's share of possession, which shouldn't come as a surprise. Carline with some possession brings it inside towards Roberts. Infield to Matt Lowe's, come over to the left-hand side now. Battles well with Max Hunt, laid across now to the far side for Lilly. Centre-back drives forward with the ball. Eventually a cross does come in towards the far side towards Danawa. Matteson challenges for it. I think it might be a corner. No, it's going to be a goal kick. to the displeasure of the Brackley supporters, but there wasn't too much contesting from the Brackley players, which indicates that's normally a way to tell if the referee's got it right or not.
Yeah, I think one of them things, especially with a referee when you're not sure, I'm pretty sure the training says in those kind of 50-50 scenarios where you're not sure, is you give the benefit to the defending team.
The defending side, yeah.
It's the same with offsides. If you're unsure, we give the benefit to the attacking team.
Well, David Robson will line up what must be 15th goal kick that we've seen today already. Combined from both sides. He will go long towards Jake Day on that right-hand side. Gets a flick onto it. Dean heads away. Battled by Mattison. I think there was only going to be one winner in that aerial duel. It's cleared long by Brackley, out for an Alfreton throw inside their own half. Mattison comes back to take this one. And I think we'll touch on the change of shape that we've seen so far with the wing-backs and the two up top. The three central defenders. Wouldn't call it a success so far, but certainly not a failure. I mean, it's not going to be, you can't be drawing 0-0 with one of the best teams in the league and have any complaints about it. As Dwayne Wiley steps up from that back line to try and make a chance from it, but his clearance only finds the gloves of Maxted. But yeah, level so far against Brackley, who are joint top with a game in hand on the league leaders Chester, who are currently winning, so that will put them 2 points behind top of the table Chester. Solidemi flicks that clearance on towards Wiley. Didn't quite have the route back to his goalkeeper, so he's forced to take it to the corner, though he does well to smash the ball off of Connor Hall. Out for a goal kick for Robson to take another one of those. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the change of shape, Matty, so far?
To be fair, it's one of them where I think I'm looking at it and it's not, unbelievably fluid. It's not, it's not making a huge difference to how we would usually play. We're still kind of going with that kind of route one long ball, look for Jake there. But I can definitely see the potential in it. I think if you play a couple of games, do a couple of training sessions on this shape, on this system. I really like the idea of Day and Francis up top together because, Jake Day has been impressing me for the past year and a half, and Francis has impressed me over the 2 or 3 games that I've seen him play. I think these two new fullbacks as well, Newell an option as well. They've got the potential to be attacking. We saw Matty Carson's goal on Tuesday evening, which was something of a thundercracker.
Yeah, great finish.
So he's clearly got a bit going forward. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Matheson. I think a lot of our strongest players, you look at that back line, Wiley, Hunt and Solidemi have all been, it's hard for one of them to miss out every time, as well as Anson as well, who's done well in recent weeks. I like the idea of the 3 at the back. You can be a little bit more fluid in attack. I like the idea of Day having another striker to aim for rather than trying to hold it up, bring it down and then get it out to a wide area. It definitely offers something different, a bit more stability at the back with that extra big man in there, as well from, when those set pieces, you've got an extra big centre half on the pitch to deal with. You still get the 3 in midfield. I think we've struggled in the wide areas most this season when the wingers get it, trying to beat the man, trying to do anything as there's a bit of a scuffle in the middle.
I was going to say, during that little analytical piece from Matta, you weren't missing much. It was just a bit of pinball between the two sides. Neither team could really get the ball under control. A throw in here and there, long balls, clearances exchanged, and that's been put to a stop by Adam Lund being fouled by Morgan Roberts as he tried to get the ball under control. But before the whistle went, Adam Lund challenged for the ball with Shane Byrne. He slid in and he won the ball fairly. And there was a little bit of afters between the pair of them, some words exchanged, you'd imagine, and the referee obviously blew his whistle for the free kick, stepped in to intervene, but a little bit of a crowd of players. What those words exchanged were, we don't know, but it looks like it's all ended in a bit of a kiss and a cuddle between Adam Lund and Shane Byrne, and a bit of a passive-aggressive shove on the back from Adam Lund as Byrne makes his way back, but I think the referee's got things under control. No bookings dished out. I think he knows that Adam Lund made the challenge before the whistle went, and you played to the whistle, so can't have any complaints with that. And it was a fair challenge, regardless. But I think the reaction from the Brackley players is probably because, technically, it was a dead ball when Adam Lund put that challenge in, but he wasn't to know that. He's diving in to win possession for his team. And I think the referee's got things spot on, not dished out any cards. Carson will take this free kick from the halfway line in towards the area. Into the gloves of Maxted, though, who claims that high ball. Not too much pressure from Akil Francis in the end, and he looks to set Brackley away on the counter charge. The ball played over towards Donau, who's got space on the left-hand side. Doesn't quite get the touch that he would have wanted, though. Has to restart that momentum. Plays it into Pollock. It's a good turn from the number 14 to get beyond Matty Carson on the right-hand side into the box. Pollock tries to pull it back to the edge of the area. Cantrell, his clearance blocked by Robertson. Brackley still have it on the left, crossed in by Donauer. Oh, and it's forced to be tipped over by Robson. That ball was going to end up in the back of the net if the goalkeeper didn't get something on that. Donauer, whether that was his intention or not, hooked the ball up towards the back stick, and it just got caught in the wind, and it was sort of looping right into that far corner, and Robson had to adjust. He was prepared for the cross. Turned out to be something of a shot, and Robson had to tip it over the bar. Good save by the Alfreton goalkeeper, and that's probably the closest Brackley have come to scoring in this first half. As we approach the 43rd minute, it will be a corner for the hosts. Roberts delivers from that far side in towards the number 11, Matt Lowe, whose front post header is over the bar. Something of a free header at the near post, so the Alfreton back line won't be too happy with it, but out for a goal kick in the end, and a let-off for Ofton. And Robson will take this goal kick after making the probably the save of the match so far. Not that there's much competition from either keeper.
Quick score updates. Farsley Celtic's lead didn't last long. They're now 2-1 down. As well as Oxford City, who are sitting 1 point outside the relegation zone, are currently 2-0 down to... Good. Liam says good. Chester and Charlie are now at 2-2. And Kidderminster are leading 1-0, I believe, at Scarborough, I want to say. I don't know, see if Scarborough picked up response because they're all both 1-0 down. I'm just looking at the live league table. But yeah, there you are. Farsley are now getting beat.
Well, Robson's goal kick was aimed long at Jake Day. I'm sure that won't come as a surprise to many of you. And Day sort of chests it down and flicks it around the corner out for a Brackley throw, which goes long, cleared by Alfreton and into the crowd. And that was a firm sort of punch back into play.
Yeah, fans just
from a supporter
hooked it back onto the pitch without it bouncing.
Well, Brackley flicked the ball on into the area towards Pollock. Hull got there first, and it was just something of a flick on, get it into an area where there might be some danger. Pollock peeled around the corner of his defender. I think it was Carson, but Robson again in a good area in the box to grab that one to his chest. He has the ball in his gloves once again, opts for the drop kick this time. He gets a lot of distance on it towards the Brackley back line. Dean forced to head it clear. Carson looks to knock it back where it came from. Carline clears it once more. Lund nips in there first, lays it off to Waldock, back with Carson at halfway, and he tries to hook the clearance around the corner, but can't quite get ahead of the ball. Yeah, can't wrap his foot around it. Out for a Brackley throw inside their own defensive third, which Zach Lilly looks to take. He might have the he's got the route to his goalkeeper on if he wants to go that way. Either that or down the line towards Matt Lowe. Does go down the line. Does go towards Lowe, but Carson heads that one clear. Jake Day tries to bring it under control. Francis trying to help him out. Cantrell steps in, but Byrne comes away with it for Brackley. Looks to clip it down the left-hand side. It's a good ball towards Donauer, well weighted, but Matteson steps in on the touch of Donauer and clears his lines. Bounces out for a Brackley throw, though, just inside their own half. Carline looked like he wanted to take that one quickly, but didn't have the option, so he's forced to wait. Jake Day drops back to occupy.
2 minutes added on.
Morgan Roberts, we're hearing there's going to be 2 added minutes. We just saw the board light up. It's not been raised yet.
No, he just put it down.
Oh, he just put it down?
Yeah.
So we are going to see 2 added minutes in this first half, as Dwayne Wiley contests that ball in the corner and eventually gets it clear. Up towards a unmarked Carline, knocks it forward, cleared away by Hunt, only as far as Roberts on the edge of the box. Looks to get a shot away. Travels into the box now, into a dangerous area, but eventually the block does come in. Liam Waldock gets beyond Tyler Little before clearing it down the line, looking for Day. Headed away by Lilly into that Alfreton corner on that left-hand side. Cantrell's forced to throw his body in there. to knock it out for a Brackley throw on that right-hand side. As we come to sort of a minute and a half left of added time in this first half. Things are still level here. Brackley will have a late chance to break the deadlock. It's going to be that long throw again from that right-hand side, playing Alfreton at their own game. And it's only Little and Byrne left outside the box for Brackley. In it comes towards the front post. Punched away by Robson. And it is going to be out for a corner, which Roberts will take. Not too much conviction on the punch, but
there's a group of 4 kids fighting for the ball.
Robson knew he had to do something, and it's punched out behind the goal into a sort of battle of kids trying to all get their hands on the ball to be the ones to throw it back in play.
One of them actually blocked it going back into play so he could do it himself.
Well, Morgan Roberts sets up this corner. Going to be the in-swinger towards the front post. Into the box it goes. It's towards the back stick, headed away by Solademi. He does well. Adam Lund is going to chase as try as he might to keep that one in, but it's going to go out for a Brackley throw. There's probably just about going to be time for Vanarama to take this one and launch it into the area. He knows there's not long left. The Brackley players streaking into the area, readjusting their shape. In it goes towards that front post. Max Hunt gets something on it to head it away. It's back up to Vanarama on the left. Crossed in to a dangerous area, headed away by Day. Baldock doesn't get the clearance right. Shot comes in from Pollock on the volley, but that one's wide of the mark. And the Brackley fan behind the goal launches that one at David Robson, and Robson knows that he's going to let that one run beyond him, and that will be the half-time whistle from the referee, Matt Scholes. Things level here, 0-0, deadlock yet to be broken, and it's probably still Akil Francis with the best chance of the half, coming off the crossbar. Brackley threatening a little bit more towards the end of that first 45, but it remains level here at St James's Park. Alfreton Town holding the second place side, who were joint top going into this fixture, to a goalless stalemate thus far. The change of shape working defensively, the 3 centre-halves making sure that Connor Hall and Matt Lowe haven't had all that much joy in the final third. But the front line also for Alfreton, outside of that Francis half chance, haven't had that much joy themselves. So it's been a tight game. There's not been much to write home about so far. The scores are level at the break.
Yeah, I can see Billy's vision with this change of shape. Whatever came to him in a dream, it's worked. Because I see the dream too. I see the vision. I see the potential of this new system, and I see what it could do for the rest of the season. It's been actually quite an assured first half. We've negated a lot of chances other than those kind of long throws, corners into the box, set pieces. You kind of average, you've got to deal with them, and we have. They've done the same with us. I think the big chance coming from Akil Francis hitting the bar, a great ball in behind from Mike Carson, had Lilly under a lot of pressure, facing his own goal, striker on his heels, nearly making the mistake that resulted in a goal. I think, if you can force mistakes like that by putting Brackley under pressure, we could come away with the result here. But I'm going to quickly run us through the scores which I had up, but he's trying to beat me to it.
Go for it quick.
But I'll go through. We've got, to probably the delight of Brackley fans, now Chorley have equalised against Chester, so that's 2-2 there in Chorley. Farsley, after going 1-0 up, now have a red card and are 2-1 down, so their high went to a low very quickly. Hereford and Darlington are in a stalemate at 0-0 at half-time. Kidderminster are leading 1-0 at home against Scarborough. Needham Market in Marine is currently level at 0-0. Buxton lead Oxford City 3-0 at Oxford. Radcliffe and Curzon Ashton are at 0-0, as well as Scunthorpe and Leamington also level at 0-0. Southport Trail 2-0 to Kings Lynn Town at Southport. Spennymoor continue their, not over yet, but if they do, they'll be continuing their winning form as they're 1-0 up at home against Peterborough Sports. And Warrington Town are 1-0 up against fellow relegation fodder Rushall Olympic. And just a bit of a, whoa, I didn't expect that one. At half-time, at Anfield, Southampton lead 1-0.
Wow.
Which is just, not really of interest to anyone, but a shocking one. But we're going to take our routine half-time break. We want to thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the first half of action here at St James's Park. St James Park, sorry, not St James's. We're not in Newcastle. At St James Park. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in on this lovely day here and we will be back for the second half to bring you all the action and more. So we will see you then.
Welcome back, everybody, for this second half of Alfreton Town's away trip to Brackley Town at St James Park. Things all level at the break. If you were here for the first half, you will have heard there wasn't a whole lot of action in front of goal. Probably the biggest flashpoint being Nikhil Francis' chance that bounced off the top of the crossbar early on in the first half. Outside of that, not a whole lot has been going on. Not too much for either goalkeeper to deal with. There was a moment near the end when David Robson was forced into his one and only real save as a cross from the Brackley's left wing from Justin Danawa forced him to tip a ball over the bar and out for a corner. But again, disregarding that, there's really not been much going on, and so for entertainment's sake and for Alfreton's sake, we'll hope that changes a little bit in this second half as we are ready to get underway. But the Brackley backroom staff jogging their way across the pitch. They've made it out of the dressing room a little late. Gavin Cowan might not have that turn of pace anymore.
Well,
makes his way back
I was
to
going
the
to say,
dugout.
we made a bit of a fun discovery, didn't we, about Gavin Cowan before kick-off. We were doing a little bit of research once we got into the ground. He was born in, where was it? Hanover,
West Germany.
Obviously not German. I think he was just born there.
Yeah.
So whether his mother was there on holiday, popped him out and then took him home,
who knows?
That would have been fun. I don't know what necessary routes you have to go down to manage to...
Well, it was surprising to learn because, Gavin Cowan, to me, English guy, had a non-league career, started off at Braintree, managed Telford, came to Brackley, so, I was not expecting to see another country's flag when I went onto his transfer marked, but there you have it. Brackley did get us underway for this second half and very, very quickly surrendered possession to Alfreton. Liam Waldock won it back, sent the ball long, and it was headed out. Eventually, Brackley looked to break forward, but there was an offside given, penalising, I want to say it was Connor Hall on the left-hand side of that front two that they've got at the moment. So David Robson has the chance to send the ball long for Alfreton's first chance at an opportunity in this second half. Just looking at the teams, can't see any signs of a half-time change from either side. I think we are all the same. Robson gets that one wrong though, slips a little as he takes it, but it does find the feet of Jake Day in the end, does his best to make something of it, but Shane Byrne clears the ball, and that one's gone almost into their gantry.
Yeah, it was
where the cameraman is, but out for an Alfreton throw on the halfway line.
Matheson stepped up really well there, forced him to kind of clear it quickly rather than getting the ball under control, which has ultimately led to the ball going out for a throw-in.
Oh, we are going to have an Adam Lund cannon into the area you'd like to see. There it is, in towards that front post, towards Jake Day, headed down, but not necessarily away by Brackley. Eventually the clearance comes in from Dean to get it further away. Carson tries to clear it, but it just goes up, not quite the direction that he would have wanted, but there we go. Second time of asking, gets it further clear, headed forward by Carline. It's going to bounce into the Alfreton box as, kind of to the edge of the box. Adam Lund is forced to sort of throw his body to head it back to Robson, because obviously doesn't want to knock it back with his foot, give him the opportunity to pick it up, and he's done well. And the tannoy's scared me again, but
yeah, Liam nearly jumped out his skin at half-time when the tannoy went off.
Well, Robson, a few jeers from the home fans as he holds onto the ball for a little while, but referee doesn't indicate anything against him, and eventually
pushing the back.
Yeah, it does indicate for a free kick there as Jake Day tries his best to make something of that long ball from Robson up against Dean. But the Brackley captain felt he was pushed. Referee Matt Scholes agrees, awards Brackley that free kick inside their own half, which Dean will stand over.
Just as well, Darlington have gone 1-0 up at the long journey to Hereford, which is another good result for them if they can hold on to that 3 points.
The referee just having a quick chat with Dwayne Wiley, the Alfreton skipper, and Jake Day. Well, I think it was more of a chat with Jake Day, but Dwayne Wiley's come over to hear what's being said, because that is now Jake Day's third foul of the game, I think. And again, it's one of those where none of them have actually had any malice involved. And we're going to see an immediate change in the second half as Jake Day is withdrawn in favour of Lewis Salmon. So we're going to have to see what the shape becomes now, whether that's going to be a like-for-like. Salmon's going to kind of adopt that role. Francis is going to be asked to do the kind of big man play. We will wait and see whether that's injury related or just a planned change, but Billy didn't want Brackley to see that we'd made the change at half time, and now he's just going to give them an extra sort of few minutes to think about it. But Lewis Salmon, the first change from the Alfreton bench in place of Jake Day very early on in this second half. In the 48th minute, play back underway eventually though, with the Brackley free kick sent long, headed away by Solademi, out for a Brackley throw by the corner flag on the right flank for them. We're going to see Justin Denauer stroll on over for one of the long throws that we've seen him deliver a few times in this one.
Yeah, it looks
Although
like
Little gives him the short option, gives it back to Denauer. Back to Little again, right-footed cross, but it gets caught up in the wind. Salmon with his first touches of the ball, hooks the ball away, tries to go long and wins a free kick in the process.
Yeah, looks like Salmon's going to play up front.
Yeah, looks to be that way.
He's been the
central.
The man in Alfreton colours who's been kind of getting the goals lately. He's been in, despite Alfreton's run of form, he's been the one who's kind of bagged a goal here and there. He's not in bad form himself from a personal perspective.
Yeah, got that late goal away at South Shields quite recently. Going to hope to add to that tally this afternoon off the bench. Robson, free kick from inside his own half, goes long towards Salmon. Does his best up against Gareth Dean, but Brackley come away with it, flicked round the corner by Hall, over towards Wiley. Does well, though, to maintain it, but then eventually slips. Ball goes out for a throw, taken quickly towards Lowe, up against Solademi, challenged by the Alfreton defender, dropped back to Little. Now with Byrne. Gets his studs on the ball, thinks about where to play it first, looks to knock it round the corner for Pollock, and it's a clever pass to the former Northampton man. Looks to check inside, but Solademi's made it hard for him. Prodded it out eventually for a throw-in. I think he's bounced it off of Little actually, and it's going to be an Alfreton throw. Carson was over there initially, but he's going to leave this one to Solademi to chuck down the line up towards Francis. Carson does his best to flick that one on. Bounces out for another Alfreton throw, just gained about 10 yards of territory down the line. Carson leaves that one for Solademi again, who's kind of been tasked with these throws down the left-hand side to hit the channel. Got a good enough amount of distance on it from the ones that we've seen so far. That one was aimed at Francis, headed away by Little. Eventually knocked back over the top by Pollock, but trickles out for another throw. So back to square one for Alfreton, with another throw for Solademi to launch forward. More distance on that one. Headed away by Little again. Waldock tries to knock it into the feet of Salmon, who's takes a little knock from Dean, but nothing unfair. Brackley looks to hook this one round the corner over towards Hall, but Max Hunt heads it away. Roberts battles with Lunds to get there, and eventually Roberts puts two hands on the back of Adam Lund, and well, he took them off of him, but Lund went down anyway. And I think that's a case of that you mentioned in the first half. Gamble with a defending team if you're the referee. And I thought it might go the other way then, because Adam Lund did this sort of classic footballer, go down and then grab the ball to make the referee give a decision. I thought he might give handball against Adam Lund, but Alfreton thankfully come away with the decision there. Robson set to take this free kick deep inside his own half. Goes long, doesn't slip this time. Up towards Francis. Bounces back into the midfield. Matson tries to get something on there, but a foul is given. Brackley with a free kick of their own now from a similar position to the one that Alfreton just had. Burns going to leave this one for Maxted to come out of his box to take, and give Zach Lilly some time to tie his boots. And eventually Maxted waits for him. He's done now. Up he gets. Maxted right-footed free kick towards the right-hand side, over towards Byrne. Gets a shove from Carson, and the free kick goes the way of the home side. I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah,
It was Matt Lowe actually that got up to win that one and win the free kick in the process. And we are going to see a change from Brackley, whether that's in response to the Alfreton change or not. We'll see. It's the number 15, Tyler Little, that's going to be...
Little off
Little off for
Ricardo Calder.
Just the handy that the fourth officials got that the wrong way round.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Ricardo Calder, the first change for Brackley, the second of the afternoon. Might be a... We'll see if it's a like for like.
Just to say as well,
There's confirmation of it if you can hear us.
we alluded to the amazing fact that Southampton were leading Liverpool 1-0 at half-time at Anfield. That's no longer the case. Liverpool have turned it around in less than 10 minutes and now lead 2-1.
Well, Byrne set to take this free kick for Brackley inside the Alfreton half, clipped in towards the back post. Dwayne Wiley gets something on it just to nod it away a little bit out to the right flank. Brackley looking to hold it up. Cantrill not making it easy for them. Laid back towards Roberts, who's forced back all the way to Denauer. Drops it back to his goalkeeper, Maxted. Gives it back out to substitute. Calder.
Alfreton just sitting a bit deeper this half. They're not pressing up as high. Even though they've injected the pace of Lewis Salmon into this team, they're happy to let Brackley have this ball, maybe frustrate them a little bit.
And Brackley, well, it's a loose pass in the end from Lilly, which Carson steps up to intercept. And he can't believe that the throw-in hasn't gone the way of Alfreton and Francis of the same opinion, but Matt Scholes certain in his decision that that's a Brackley throw. And Lilly comes over to take this one. Down the line on the right-hand side. Carson puts his head in there to win it. Headed back forward by Byrne. Eventually manages to find the pass out to the substitute, Ricardo Calder. On that left-hand side is where he's been introduced. Strides forward, he's up against Matteson. Getting closer and closer to the box. Thought about the cross, checks back onto his right foot, back onto his left. Does try the cross, but Matteson's there to close it down and block, but it is out for a Brackley corner. Francis will jog back to occupy a red shirt here. We're seeing only Salmon stay forward.
Newell.
And Nathan Newell ready to be introduced. He's stripped, he's got his kit ready. And that's probably going to be for one of the wing-backs, you'd imagine?
Yeah, I think it'll be a straight swap with Carson.
We have seen him capable on the right-hand side as well, though.
Yeah, the way he cut in. I don't think it's one of them where he wants to be looking to get in, one of the wing-backs getting forward so he can cut in.
Well, Brackley deliver the corner towards the front post, and it's a bit of pinball in the area. Eventually breaks to the edge of the box for Zach Lilly. Tries a little step over and hooks it back into the box, and it's not too far away from nestling under the crossbar and forcing Robson into a save, but
making him
hits
think.
Hits the roof of the net eventually, out for a goal kick.
Boards up.
And we are going to see Nathan Newell introduced, a blank board raised by the fourth official very helpfully.
He has one job.
Cheers, mate. Thankfully we know who that is. Nathan Newell ready to come on, and I mean no one knows who's coming off because there was no number on the board. So
there
now we've got
go.
one, and
now
it is going to be
sets off.
Is going to be a straight swap by the looks of it for Matty Carson, who's not had a bad game at all on that left-hand side. Been up and down, comes off for Nathan Newell just to provide that injection, some fresh legs, a little bit of pace on that left flank. I've not seen Nathan Newell for a little while now, but we'll hope he can provide some attacking threat as well as be defensively solid for the remainder of this game. I was going to say David Robson. He's caught his goal kicks quite nicely this afternoon. And Dwayne Wiley clashes with Connor Hall as he's gone to win the ball, and Wiley stayed down holding. Well, first it was his lower back, now it's his head, now it's back to his back and his head again. Ollie is waved on. Turn of pace from the physio as he tends to Dwayne Wiley. Referee stopped play, which would indicate it's for the head injury, but Wiley kind of went in there to win the header. Hall stumbled as he was looking to back up into Dwayne Wiley, and the sort of stumbling body of Connor Hall has forced Dwayne Wiley to trip up, and he's hit the deck. So nothing unfair from either player, but it's just left Dwayne Wiley on the ground, and Ollie's hopefully going to be able to sort him out.
Yeah, just while he's down, we'll run through some
Go for it.
Score updates as we can. Buxton are now 4-0 up, and Oxford have had a man sent off. Marina 1-0 up at Needham Market, to Liam's delight. Radcliffe were 1-0 down to Curzon with a red card, but Radcliffe have equalised with 10 men to make it 1-1. Scunthorpe lead Leamington 1-0. And that's it in terms of updates. You'll be having your lot of 2-0 up.
Oh, I've just seen that. I suppressed my celebrations, but Cairo Lisby, you beauty.
And if anyone cares, I certainly don't. Borough are 1-0 down.
Well, you care less now.
We are back. We are so back. We're rubbish. Derby are winning as well, so...
Still 2-1.
Still 2-1, yeah.
Well, thankfully, Dwayne Wiley's back to his feet and he's on the touchline. He's going to have to wait to be waved back on by the referee. Interestingly enough, the fourth official's gone over to hold his hand before he's allowed back on, just to make sure he doesn't do it too quickly, and that drop ball is going to have to be retaken. The referee wasn't happy with it that time, but...
Mike Carson's on the naughty step.
Not allowed on the bench.
He sat on the floor.
Well, Zach Lilly comes forward with the ball for Brackley down the right-hand side, gets into a good area far too easily, tries to knock the ball through on his weak foot, but thankfully it's blocked by the Alfreton back line up towards Lewis Salmon, who blocks the play from Brackley. Cantrell steps in though, tries to set it ashore, tries to find Salmon again. Dean with the clearance. It's a little bit scrappy here, and now Byrne turns into plenty of space in the Brackley midfield across to Donawa, up against recently substituted on Nathan Newell. Tries to shift it out to the right. Good body from Nathan Newell. Uses his strength, tries to bring the ball around.
Free kick
and
as well.
Well
done,
done
Nathan
really
Newell.
well. Really well. Nathan Newell puts his strength in, uses his body well, gets it around the corner, clears the ball, draws the foul. Exactly what you want from your fullback in that scenario. Billy Heath will be a big fan of that. I certainly was.
Yeah, great use of the body. Did well to keep it in. Got round, won himself a free kick. He actually couldn't have done any better there if he tried.
Well, the resultant free kick is going to be taken by Robson right in that corner in the defensive area for Alfreton. And it will be sent long eventually. There we go. Just waiting for the ball to come into view. Headed away by Gareth Dean, only out for another Alfreton throw though, which Solodemi will take. It looks like he's got actually more tape on his leg than he had at the start of the game, round the back, on his knee. Solodemi tells Francis to get further backwards before taking this one.
Yeah,
should have gone even further backwards, but Lilly heads it away into the body of Francis. Lund tries to send it down the line, but that one's going to roll out for a Brackley goal kick. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Francis, for all the positives he's brought and all the praise I have given him, is one thing he really needs to work on is how he judges his headers. He's almost always too underneath the ball. Jake Day judges those headers brilliantly, and that's his biggest strength. He always seems to be right where he needs to be. Francis always seems to kind of be a little bit too over-eager, gets underneath the ball, and then it just goes over his head. Doesn't judge them well, doesn't get his body underneath it, which results in kind of, when you want him to do that big man job, you look at his stature, he's right in front of us right now, big lad, clearly got the strength, clearly got the tools to do that. He just needs to judge his positioning a little bit better. Well,
Maxted's goal kick, not to the grade that he'd want there, as that's gone straight out for an Alfreton throw, but Brackley do win it back from that throw, as Wiley, he's challenged Matt Lowe for the ball, and referee deems it to be unfair. The free kick's taken with the ball rolling. Referee stopped that one immediately.
I think he'll be glad as well.
I was going to say, because that is a poor free kick in the end. It would have trickled straight out for an Alfreton throw in their own half, but Brackley get a second chance on this one. Zach Lilly standing over it, drops it back to Gareth Dean on the right of the back line. Waits to play it, gives it to Scott Pollock, who's dropped into that midfield, but Cantrell steps in and wins it back into Liam Waldock, who's got a little bit of space in front of him. Pass to Francis, didn't present itself though, so on he goes. Eventually does get it off to Francis. Tackled by Lilly and out for an Alfreton throw, so a chance for Adam Lund to toss this one into the area. A bit of a break for the Alfreton back line. They've been under a decent amount of pressure in this second half so far, as we've gone beyond the hour mark. 63 minutes into this one, the score remains 0-0. If you are just tuning in.
Yeah, I think I don't think Waldock wanted to go wide. I think he wanted to open his body up to where the space and the pitch was, but he couldn't get it under control, and he ended up having to come out to this wide area.
Well, Lundy's throw into the area towards Dwayne Wiley, headed out of the box towards Liam Waldock, who's poked it back to Mattison. I think he's going to take the safe route back to his goalkeeper. He is, with Robson on the edge of his box now. Goes long himself on his right foot up towards Hunt, who stayed forward. Beaten to it. Liam Waldock brings it down though. Referee gets out the way. Waldock lays that one off for Nathan Newell. Clip back down the line towards Waldock, who's got himself a little bit of space on that left wing. In a crossing position now. Drop back to Nathan Newell. Takes the touch down the line, tries to get the ball ahead of him, and then eventually gets the left-footed cross into the box. It's low with Francis on the edge of the box, trying to make something of it. Didn't quite drop as he wanted it to. He's trying to lay it around the corner for Luke Mattison, and despite the wing-back's best efforts, the Bolton loanee unable to keep it in play, out for a Brackley goal kick.
Yeah, I think Matheson just wanted that into his feet.
Yeah.
Francis tried to play it, with him a little space to run in and kind of get around the corner. Matheson wasn't ready for that, too flat-footed. And I think the pass had a little bit too much on it from Francis as well to give him a chance to get there.
We are going to see a second change for Brackley, and it's the long throw taker, Justin Donauer, withdrawn in place of, I want to say that's the number 9, Danny Newton, who's a well-known figure in the National League. So Brackley now playing with the 3 strikers in Newton, Hall and Lowe.
Shows some intent that from Brackley, that they don't want to come away with a 0-0. They've drawn a kind of a wing back and put on a striker.
Well, Newton immediately gets to the ball from that goal kick and is challenged by Solademi, who bravely puts his foot in to win it. Felt that he wanted the free kick there, but play went on. Brackley now with the ball on the left-hand side. It's with Calder. Into Newton. Tries to prod it through to Pollock inside the area. Left-footed cross. I think that's taken a nick off of Max Hunt and out for a Brackley corner on that far side. Pollock strolls on over to take it. Alfreton going to set up defensively now, and we are seeing just the one man left back for Brackley in Ricardo Calder. Occupies Lewis Salmon on that halfway line. Byrne is kind of between the centre circle and the edge of the box, but Brackley committing bodies now. They want this win. Pollock stands over this corner, 2 arms raised, right-footed in-swinger towards the back post, headed away by Alfreton, but not out of the box. Bodies on the floor, picked up by Lilly eventually. Brings it out towards the right-hand side, plays it off of Mattison, but it ricochets back for Lilly. And a firm challenge in there from Hunt in the end. And Mattison shepherds that one because he thinks it's going to be a goal kick, but it's straight out for a corner. And Gareth Dean stays on the ground after going down inside the area from that corner straight away, and I think we might see the physio waved on, or is he going to get back to his feet?
He looks just dazed. He doesn't look like he's hurt. I think he just looks a bit like
he might have taken a bonk to the back of the head.
Yeah, wallop of some sort, but it doesn't look like he's going to have any sort of injury. Oh, no. Never mind, that's a limp.
He's back to his feet, but walking a little gingerly on that left foot. But Gareth Dean, not the kind of player that's going to go down if he's not hurt, and especially in a game where Brackley wouldn't want it to be slowed down. They're looking for the winner here. He is back to his feet and stays forward in the box. Zach Lilly gesticulating for the corner taker to change it up a little bit. Left-footed in-swinger towards the front post, but it doesn't beat the first man. Nathan Newell clears that bouncing ball, but it is back with Roberts, the corner taker, up against Newell again, puts his foot in. Salmon comes away with it and clears long into the Brackley half. Mattison gives chase up against Calder, and he might get there, Mattison very quick, and he does well to close down the clearance as well on Calder.
Excellent.
That looked like a nothing ball into the Brackley half, but the work ethic of Luke Mattison, he's tirelessly sprinted out there just to prevent the long clearance, and Brackley now, if Alfreton can box them in from this throw, will have a little bit more to deal with than they would have liked. Throw goes down the line towards Hunt. He wins it, flicked around the corner by Waldock. Salmon tries to knock it around the corner once more for Francis, but it's prodded out for an Alfreton throw. And you know who is going to go on over to take this.
Just play a game of guess who. He has a long throw in.
Yes, he wears the number 4, and you probably know who it is. Adam Lund over to take this throw with the ball in his hands now. Waits for the arrivals of Dwayne Wiley and Max Hunt into the box. Solademi in there as well, along with Francis and Salmon. Waldock and Cantrell on the edge. In comes the throw from Adam Lund. Headed away at the front post by Dean, and eventually cleared by Hall into the feet of Roberts. does well to maintain possession, looks to knock it around the corner for Pollock. Oh, and he might have won the foul there. Referee, no, disagrees.
Oh, that's a brave decision,
That is
referee.
brave. That looked like a foul from up here because Pollock's tumbled over and it's bounced out. I think, has he given the throw or is he given?
He's given a throw in. He's given a throw in.
I think he's given the throw in on the basis.
Challenge.
Yeah, on the basis that the ball's gone out before Pollock's got there, I imagine, because that looked like a pretty nailed-on free kick for Brackley if it had stayed in. But a throw in nonetheless. Alfreton won't mind that. Luke Mattison chucks this one down the line, looking for Francis. Headed back in field. Byrne clears up towards Newton, who had a massive beard the last time I saw him when he played against Braintree in the FA Cup this season, but that's gone. Not exactly clean-shaven, but he's certainly not the bushy beard that I was accustomed to. And Brackley have themselves a free kick just inside the Alfreton half. Byrne goes wide towards Calder, who's up against Mattison. Little step over from the substitute. Takes it over to the left-hand side. Looks to get across on his left foot. Mattison again. Good work from the Bolton loanee to block the cross. But it will be another Brackley corner. Pollock goes on over to take. We're seeing, they've got the two corner takers. Pollock when it's on that side. Roberts on this side. Just so they've got a strong-footed player to hit the in-swinger. So you can tell what they want to do. Pollock, the right-footed player of those two. Two arms in the air once again. Brackley load the box. In it comes from Pollock towards the back post. Headed back across by Dean. Little too much on it though. Pollock tries to just put some venom behind that, and it's going to bounce out for an Alfreton goal kick in the end. Not too much for any of the back line to worry about.
Yeah, I think he saw his name in lights there, Scott Pollock, as that ball bounced for him. Just thought he'd kind of hit it into that crowd of players as hard as he could, but he couldn't quite get the catch that on it that he wanted. He didn't fly how he wanted, and it went clear of pretty much everyone in the box, which was pretty hard to do considering every player nearly on the pitch was in that box, bar Brackley's goalkeeper, two defenders, and Lewis Salmon.
Well, nonetheless, out for a goal kick it went. David Robson will prepare to take this one. Right hand side of his 6-yard box. Forward it comes. Up towards Lewis Salmon, headed away by Lilly. Into that midfield area. Adam Lund looks to hook it around the corner on his left foot towards Salmon, but Lilly heads it away once more. Hall makes something of it, finds Matt Lowe. Little outside the foot pass across to George Carline on the left of the defence. Brings it across to Calder, who's got a little bit of space once again up against Mattison. Opts to cut inside this time. Tries the shot on his right foot, blocked by Dwayne Wiley, and manages to actually bring it down and clear it. It's Lewis Salmon, held up by Lilly. No foul given. Brackley come away with possession. Lilly goes back to Byrne, drops it back composed from that midfielder. Cantrell looks to put a foot in, but Byrne still has it. Nathan Newell has to come across. Still with Byrne. Little chop. He's had the ball for about 15 seconds. Drops it into Matt Lowe. Tries to get it round the corner, but Nathan Newell is there to clear. Francis comes across, but Gareth Dean beats him to it. Pollock now. Bit sloppy to surrender possession just for a moment, and Lewis Salmon made Lilly thump the clearance, and then it's bounced off one of his own players out for an Alfreton throw, which Solidemi will take on this left-hand side.
Yeah, I don't think Salmon should have turned and tried to take on Lilly there. I think he should have played it inside to Francis and kept the ball, but he's got away with it, and we've got a throw-in, which was probably best case scenario after he made that decision.
Solidemi just on the centre halfway line, chucks this one down the line. Although Matt Lowe comes away with it. Solidemi has to step, laid through for Hall, and Dwayne Wiley comes across. Fortunate to get there and clear it away. Pollock tries to turn that one around the corner. Nathan Newell sends it back where it came from. Gareth Dean does the same. Up towards Hall. Dwayne Wiley tries to step in, and Hall purchases the free kick. And you can't blame him. Byrne steps in to take this one quickly. No rolling ball this time. Over towards Calder on that left touchline in front of the dugouts. Tries to bring it forward again. Up against Mattison. It's a battle that we've seen multiple times so far. Mattison's probably got the better of it from the previous meetings, but Calder opts to knock it backwards this time to Pollock. Right-footed cross into the area, and it's a dangerous one, and it's headed and it's in. And it's the number 11, Matt Lowe, adds to his impressive tally for the season. Gets his header in at the back post. David Robson's beaten flat-footed into the side netting. It's bounced before it's got there, but it's a good cross from Scott Pollock to find Lowe, and his header, he beats Dwayne Wiley to it, who's now dropped to his knees, and in it goes to the back of the net. And Alfreton Town, who've worked so hard all afternoon, are going to feel a little bit hard done by that goal, but the first half performance looks a little bit better now when you look at it this way, but there is going to be another sub for Brackley.
Scott Pollock
straight after that goal, and it is going to be Scott Pollock withdrawn. I think it was Alfie Bates. I think it was the number 8 that was raised.
Was it? I thought it was the 18.
Fourth official. Well, I saw an 8. It's either 8 or 18. We'll bring you confirmation of that when we get it. But Alfreton Town now, with a mountain to climb, find it with it all to do.
It's a fantastic header, though. I mean, it's coming across him. He's leaning back. He's done so well to turn it back on towards goal from the position he was in. It's a fantastic header and kind of left. Yeah, you're right. It's Bates. Kind of left Robson rooted to the spot. You'd like to think that ball shouldn't be getting over Wiley's head, but it does. And that ultimately leaves Lowe to just head it across goal, which is what you want to do as well. You want to head it towards the direction that the goalkeeper's coming from, because it's so hard for them to change the momentum.
Yeah.
Now Alfreton are going to have to come forward. What I will say is that with it, there only being 15 minutes on the clock, Brackley are going to be under some pressure now. They're going to want to sit and try and hold on to this lead. I don't see them pushing on for a second with this time on the clock. They're going to want to come away with 3 points. Yeah. So it could be a bit of an Alfreton onslaught in these final moments.
Well, the team second in the league will now again go joint top with Chester should the results stay as they are, but they've been made to work for it.
It depends what Chester's result is, if they're still drawing.
If Chester are still drawing, maybe not. But
which they are,
have made Brackley work for this lead that would put them top of the table. The side went into this game second with a good record against Ofton.
Buxton now lead by 7, by the way.
Jesus.
At Oxford.
John McGrath's Buxton side. Are they going to be in the playoffs now?
They should be.
They were in and around it.
So no, they're not. They're quite a few points out, actually.
3 points out, fair enough.
They're 1 point behind Curzon, who have 3 games in hand on them.
Well, Brackley with a throw-in on the right-hand side for them, and as Matty's just said, this is just going to be a case of them seeing this game out, adding a second if they can, taking usage of the momentum that they currently have, perhaps. But Alfreton Town are going to have to find something in the remaining 14 minutes here, and whatever added time we see. We are seeing Sam Osborne with his bib off, stripped and ready to come on, so maybe might come on in place of Matteson, just provide some attacking intent, because there's not been much of that since Jake Day's gone off, it has to be said. Lewis, Salmon and Francis, you've just not had that target forward to play, but I suppose Jake Day's minutes kind of do need to be managed on his return from injury.
Yeah, it must be to do with that injury, because you're right, we haven't looked the same team without him. Well,
Robson's long ball towards Francis was flicked on. Salmon did his best to get there, but it trickles out for a Brackley throw. And I think Alfreton are just going to have to kind of wait for the sort of last 5 minutes, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, when naturally, when you're behind in a game, the opposition stop committing men forward, and you've then got the kind of opportunity to add a few extra bodies into the box, gamble a little bit. Jed Abbey's also getting his top on as well, so we could see
coming on now.
Could see him introduced. Are we going to see the double change if he's ready in time?
It's for Dwayne Wiley. Dwayne Wiley's going off, so
that's certainly an attacking change. Dwayne Wiley chucks the armband to George Cantrell, and it will be a alteration now to a back four.
He's going to 4-3-3.
You kind of have to, I suppose. Bring off a centre half for an attacker makes sense. Sam Osborne, goal scorer of the goal that put the Reds 2-0 up against Warrington, and it is going to be also Liam Waldock withdrawn in place of Jed Abbey, so some fresh legs in that midfield, you'd imagine. Sam Osborne providing that threat. Looks like he's come on the left. Gareth Dean sitting on his bottom, waits for the referee's attention. But there we go. A double switch for Alfreton. It leaves Adam Anson, the only unused substitute so far, all alone on the bench by himself.
Matty Carson's off the naughty step and he's on the bench now, by the way.
Yeah, he gets a seat, which is nice.
He was fully sat like out of the dugout as well.
I know.
Just like on the side of the pitch, sat down. Looked like he was being told off. Well, no one. Let me clarify. He wasn't being told off. It didn't look like someone was telling him off. It looked like he'd just been told off, and he was a sulking child. So
he'd been a naughty boy.
Yeah, like if you were like playing under 9 Sunday League and one of the kids swore at the ref and he's been subbed off and been made to sit on his own and think about his actions.
Well, Brackley also have a substitution of their own ready to make when they get the opportunity, and they've got one as Gareth Dean, who did have a little bit of a hobble a little earlier from a corner, and whether that's still the thing that's bothering him, we're not sure, but he is being treated by the Brackley physio, and so a substitution is ready, you'd imagine, for him if it needs to be made. But it gives the players a chance to have a little bit of a tactical debrief between themselves. Newell, Lund and Solidemi stood in a little triangle discussing things between the three of them.
Confirmation of double change for Alfreton
And
6, Dwayne Wiley, and
he needs to catch up. We said it about 2 minutes ago. Tannoy's giving us the double change. But yeah, certainly a change with the forward play in mind. Dwayne Wiley sacrificed. Did have a little bit of a limp as well, so he's probably the sensible centre-half to withdraw in this scenario, but play is back underway as Newton looks to knock it round the corner for Hall. Mattison's come over. He's going to have to work for this one. Hall keeps it in play. Solidemi dives in with a firm challenge. Stays in play though. Cantrell battling with Bates, the 2 number 8s.
Oh!
Cantrell does really well to come away with it into the feet of Jed Abbey. Solidemi now, he's just going to hook that one clear up towards Osborne, tries to flick it on. Lilly though, his clearance blocked by Osborne, falls into Bates' feet. Now out wide with Lowe, brings it inside, Newell puts a foot in, but Lowe stays with the ball at his feet. Now we're across to Hall on the right flank, prods it around the corner for Lowe, tries to hook the cross into the box, but that one's gone out of play, hits the top of the net. And Billy Heath waving his team forward desperately with 10 minutes to play. Crowd announced at 984 on this sunny day. I've seen a lot of people out for a National League North fixture. They're always good to see. Robson
I've seen a Newcastle shirt though, which I'm not happy about.
Go and let him know, mate. He's 7. Well, Alfreton Town from that goal kick headed out for a throw, and Adam Lund is going to come on over to take this one. He just needs to gamble the bodies forward here. Max Hunt and Solidemi waved forward. Adam Lund's going to give this everything he's got just to try and find a way into the box, and if it drops in the area, you never know what might happen. Here is Adam Lund, throw into the area towards Solidemi and Hunt, headed away by Dean, who's stayed on the pitch following that little niggle that he had a problem with. Mattison goes back to Robson in the Alfreton half, clipped forward towards Abbey, headed away by Carline, now with Newton. He's got a lot of space between that midfield and the defence. Jed Abbey tries to come across and tackle him. Solidemi does enough to, well, Newton tried to find his way through, but Max Hunt just knocks it back to his goalkeeper. Robson's not got a problem dealing with that one. Calder tries to hook that one clear, brought down by Roberts, but the ball gets away from him, and that's a late challenge from Morgan Roberts on Jed Abbey. He does make the most of it, but it's a free kick nonetheless for Alfreton, and a chance to just get this ball into the area once again. It's going to be Mattison to take, I think, is it? Oh no, he's going to leave this one to Nathan Yule, who we used to see take set pieces kind of last season, and at the start of this season he was used to taking those free kicks, deep deliveries into the box. So a little call back to that, as there's 7 minutes of normal time left to play. I'd imagine we're going to see a little bit of added time because there's been a couple of injuries. Physio's introduced more than once.
Yeah, at least 4 or 5 minutes, I reckon.
Which will play into the hands of Alfreton, you'd like to think, if the score is still at 1-0. Nathan Yule delivers this ball in towards the back post. Solidemi knocks it into a dangerous area. And George Carline is forced to knock it behind, but the oncoming Alfreton player is adjudged to be in an offside position. It would have been a corner, but unfortunately for Ofton, offside flag is raised. And Brackley will have a free kick inside their own box. So a let off for the hosts. No corner delivery for the visiting side. As we approach 100 views, we're on 99.
Yeah, we just need to keep up the pressure, keep on top of Brackley in these final few moments, get the pressure cooker going.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can break through and come away with something later on in this game.
Well, the long ball from Maxted was aimed at Hall, and you might have heard a few oohs from the crowd there as Max Hunt heads it and then goes to clear it with his foot. Doesn't see Connor Hall coming in behind him, and his foot was very close to his head, but not in a sort of high foot way. He just didn't see he was there. No contact in the end, and all is well, but that looked very close to being a nasty one. As the throw comes down the line from Solademi up towards Francis, who's hobbling a little bit, and Alfreton do get themselves the throw. The ball has gone, as the players were keen to point out. Solademi launches this one down to Adam Lund. It's literally just inside the Brackley half, but that's enough range for Adam Lund to get a throw in here. Not too much running room from the sideline to the crowd, but he buys, well, I say buys a few yards, buys about 10 before launching it into the area. Headed away by Dean. Headed away again by Newton, but only as far as Hunt. Oh, a little fake shot there onto his strong right foot over towards Lewis Salmon in the wide area. Up against Calder. Is he going to be able to get a cross in? Calder dives in and he wins the ball. It's good work from the substitute for Brackley. Sends it down the line. Looking for Newton, but Hunt just knocks this one back for Robson. Inside his own box, right-footed clearance from the Rochdale low knee. Over towards Carline, who hooks that clearance away on his left foot. Just about stays in play. Lund heads it back forward. Going to see a little bit of head tennis now. Jadabi gets it under control, though. Tries to lay the pass off, but the ball's just run away from him, and Max Hunt goes in firmly on the striker, Matt Lowe, and it is going to be a free kick and a yellow card.
First one of the match.
For Max Hunt, first yellow card of the match. I think it's one that kind of makes sense. The referee, Matt Scholes, has had a pretty good sort of control of the game so far. It's always a good sign when the bookings aren't being dished out left, right and centre, but there is the first one on 86 minutes. And Brackley have themselves a free kick just inside.
Well, as
the
well,
half.
To the absolute delight of the Brackley fans here, Charlie are leading 3-2 against Chester. So that will put them 3 points clear at the top of the league if things stay as it stands.
How close are Charlie to the title race now? Because they weren't too far
Charlie,
away.
that puts them up to 4th, and actually drops Chester down from 1st to 3rd.
Scunthorpe overtake them.
Scunthorpe, yeah, so this would leave Brackley
still
1
top.
point clear at the top, ahead of Scunthorpe.
Well, the free kick taken in towards Newton, whose flick on is diverted by Max Hunt. Sam Osborne loses track of where the ball is, does a little pirouette to try and find it, but Brackley have possession. Jed Abbey almost getting onto the end of that one, but Carline finds Roberts. It's a good turn from the number 10 to bring it forward into the attacking third, lays it off to Calder on the left side, up against Mattison once again. Mattison, Calder finally gets beyond him, brings him down, and it will be a Brackley free kick. It's probably the first time that Ricardo Calder has beaten Luke Mattison, to be fair to him.
Yeah,
and
just
it's going to be
outside the
another
box.
yellow card for the short little wing back on that far side. He's had a good game. Yeah, yellow card for Luke Mattison. Second one of the match in quick succession. And there's only 3 minutes of normal time left to play, but as we mentioned, we're probably going to see 4 or 5 minutes of injury time in this one, so Alfreton not to be too disheartened just yet. Brackley will have that free kick right on the line of the box. I doubt we'll see another change from Alfreton, because the only man left on the bench is Adam Anson, and we certainly don't need to shore up the defence. Unless, you know, there's a miraculous 2-1 turnaround, and then in which case I very much will not be surprised if we see that change. But Brackley set up this free kick on the side of the box. Nathan, you're the only man in the wall. Bodies crowding the goal line. Jed Abbey, Max Hunt, George Cantrell, and I think David Solademi all kind of sat along the goal line with David Robson. Ball comes in towards the back post and it's headed away by Solademi. He needed to get something on that because there were Brackley men waiting at the back post.
Robson came too early there, completely missed the ball. He was in no man's land. If that ball's not headed away by Solademi, well, it's a free header at the back post. And
then it's game over.
It's game over with, well, about a minute left of normal time before we see the board go up.
Well, Brackley have themselves a corner. On this right-hand side, it's going to be the delivery from the number 10, Morgan Roberts, left-footed. If they're keeping things the same, they are. 2 arms raised from the number 10. In it goes towards the front post, flicked on into a dangerous area. The ball somehow hasn't ended up in the back of the net. It's still not over yet, though, and now it eventually does. Matlow gets his brace. The ball sort of sat up in the 6-yard box for about all of 5 seconds. A crowd of bodies prevented the shot from coming in, and it found its way to Connor Hall on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he did well to turn, divert the ball back into a dangerous area, and Alfreton tried to get themselves on the line, and eventually it was Matt Lowe who came onto the ball, struck the ball first time into the roof of the net, gets himself a brace, and unfortunately for Alfreton, on 90 minutes, you'd expect that's now game over. Brackley, 2 goals to the good. They've had to work hard for it, but that's why they're top of the league. In a game they're met with adversity, Alfreton make them work hard, make them go 75 minutes without breaking the deadlock, but once they do, they're not deterred by that.
8 minutes, does that say?
I think that's 8 or 6 minutes. We'll wait for the tannoy to come over and give Liam a fright on how much added time there is.
Jumped out his skin twice.
And I think it's going to be another change for Brackley as they just look to run the clock now. For them, you'd very much imagine it's job done here at St James Park. Might be a double change for Brackley actually, just to get some players some minutes now. Kickoff is taken.
Yeah, you have to feel that the pressure's off as Alfreton just win a free kick there. But you have to feel the pressure's off Brackley now. They can play with a bit more freedom. You know, they've got that goal cushion now with that, but it's absolutely terrible defending. I mean, Billy Heath will be absolutely fuming with that at full time because the ball was in the area for so long and there's a scramble and no one deals with the danger, no one gets it clear. It comes across to the box, a man is free at the back post and he can just smash it into the empty net as Robson is kind of making his way across goal because he was defending his near post as it came across. And it shows just the desire of Brackley. It's much more than our desire, that's for sure.
Sam Osborne tries to fire the free kick into the box. He slips as he does so, and Nathan Newell looks to volley it from the edge of the area, but Max Hunt blocks his shot, unintentionally, of course. David Robson eventually has it in his own half, looks to clip it long. Gareth Dean heads it away. I think I've said that about 10 times this afternoon. And Sam Osborne has the ball in the midfield, dispossessed momentarily by Byrne. Osborne, although just I don't know if that was a attempted pass. The ball just ran away from him. Brackley clear their lines away, out for an Alfreton throw. But yeah, back to what you were saying, Matty. It was just we'll bring the subs actually quickly. Well, we've got the chance. It's Tommy O'Sullivan to be a late change in place of Morgan Roberts.
Which just leaves Miracle Okafor as well then, doesn't it?
That'll be Miracle Okafor, the 5th and final substitute for Brackley in this one, to come on in place of the number 27 Connor Hall, who provided that late goal, assisting Matt Lowe. And yeah, like you were saying, Matty, for that goal, Matt Lowe just free at the back post, acres of space to take his time and fire it into the net. And Matt Lowe, this season at least, certainly not a man that you want to be leaving in that much space in the box, adding to his double-digit tally. But there we go, Brackley running the clock with their final changes, and for them the game is all but won. I think that's going to be all the actions from either dugout in this fixture. Brackley have made all 5 changes into these 8 minutes of added time. We've played about 3. As Alfreton look to go long towards Francis, brought down by Salmon on the right flank. Tries to lay it off for Adam Lund, but just poked out of play for a Brackley throw. And Alfreton, I feel, they just seem dejected on that field.
you can see why Brackley are top of the league. They've got so much desire in everything they do, every little pass, every challenge, every run. I mean, when players don't have the ball, you're watching players bust a gut to move into space and make those kind of diagonal runs to try and receive it, constantly running the channels, constantly making those kind of underlapping runs in behind defenders and finding space. And, you know, the amount of times where a player has the ball for Brackley and you think, oh, he's got no options on, and then he just plays the ball into some space in behind because someone is running into it.
Yeah.
And they're getting there. They look so sharp and, you know, well tuned. And to be honest, I really like the potential this new kind of system, this new formation has shown today, and I hope Billy sticks with it and the players learn to play it. But if there's ever a time where, you know, a new system isn't going to work, it's going to be against one of the top teams in the league, you know,
Away
a team that's
home.
joint top of the league away from home. But I think it's got real potential, and I've liked what I've seen today. And to be honest, I don't think if he plays that kind of 4-3-3, the result's going to be any different. I think this was a case of Alfreton have shown a lot of ability and a lot of potential with this new system. What can work with the two strikers, and what can happen just as I'll shut up as Sam Osborne falls over his feet.
Yeah, brilliant. Thought there might be a little late chance there as Jeremy pinched the ball back in the midfield, laid it off for Francis, and then gave it to Osborne, who had a little bit of space on the left-hand side, and he's tried a little rolling the ball under his foot, but the ball got caught underneath his foot a little too much, and Brackley win it back. Gareth Dean now in possession, carrying the ball forward against George Cantrell. He's just put him on the floor like a boy. Gareth Dean lays that one off for the recent substitute, Tommy O'Sullivan. Gets it back, knocks it back to his goalkeeper, Maxted, and Brackley. A couple of the players looking very tired. Lilly and Dean both sort of with their hands on their knees, panting. And like you say, that's just a sign of how hard Alfreton have made them work for this win. But
they've done it.
Yeah, they've done it, and that's just a sign of a team that are top of this league and a team that probably can go up as champions. A team that have sort of faced adversity in the playoffs for numerous seasons, just it's never seemed to click for them. But you know, this sort of performance makes you think, is this the year for them at last?
Yeah, and it continues the trend of Alfreton really struggling to get results as Nathan Newell gets into a little bit of a scuffle.
Yeah, I couldn't see that.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got into a little bit of a confrontation with Lowe over in the corner over something, whether it's a niggle or a niggle on the ankles or something as he's turned.
Don't know. Bit of argy-bargy came afterwards though.
Yeah,
I could see that as the players rushed over. But
the referee shouts them both over. I don't know whether he's going to get his cards out. He kept his cards in his pocket all day, and the kind of final 10 minutes he's been dishing them out a bit more often.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't really think there's much reason for the referee to dish the cards out now. The game is all but over with a minute and a little bit of the added minutes to play. Although we'll probably see a tiny bit more because there's been a couple of stoppages in this added time period. We're just peering around the corner now. There is a yellow card dished out for the Brackley man. Is there going to be one as well for Newell or Solodemi?
Doesn't look like it.
No, I don't think there is. But it is the third yellow card and the first for a Brackley man from the referee. He's still writing on his card. I'm not too sure what he's writing. Can't be that much to write, but it is the scorer of the brace this afternoon, Matt Lowe, who receives the booking.
Well, I don't know if it's him or Newell who's received the booking.
Both got a booking.
Both got a booking.
Both got a booking, yeah. Nathan Newell, so 4 bookings from the referee so far this afternoon, if you had a bet on that. Robson will take this free kick right in his own corner.
And then nearly 100 minutes are coming on now.
Yeah. We'll probably reach the 100-minute mark as we've just about tipped over the 100-view mark, which is always nice.
Yeah, a lot of the lads just look a bit dejected now.
Yeah.
It looks, you know, it's over. I think, you know, the football's still being played, the football's still on the pitch, but it's not
a contest.
It's not a contest anymore. Brackley have, you know, came saw and conquered on their own turf, which I'm sure will have been expected of them. It wasn't easy. I think it's a performance that you can largely be proud of, apart from that kind of final 10 minutes where we should be the ones going for another goal. We should be going for the equaliser. But it felt like we were still constantly under pressure from Brackley, giving away free kicks on the edge of our own box, defending corners, defending crosses, defending Balls forward as Brackley get another free kick and a chance to get another ball into the box, and that just sums up what I'm saying.
Substitute Miracle Okafor with some really good feet to draw that foul, win the free kick in the attacking third for Brackley to the right-hand side of the box. As we go beyond the originally indicated 8th minute of added time, there will be a couple more, as we were saying. There's been a couple of stoppages here since the 90th minute mark, so don't be surprised if the clock hits 100 minutes. It's going to be Byrne standing over this free kick. No rush for Brackley, laid off to Lowe. Goes back to Byrne. Inside to Okafor, tries to flick it back to Lowe. That would have been nice for them to complete his hat-trick, but Nathan Yule does get it clear, headed back forward by the Brackley man, and that brings an end to this one. Referee blows his whistle to signal for full time. The score on 90 minutes is Brackley Town 2, Alfreton Town 0. They fought hard, they battled well for 75 minutes, and then Brackley took the lead courtesy of Matt Lowe. And then you thought going into the final sort of 5-10 minutes it's going to be Alfreton throwing caution to the wind, throwing the kitchen sink, having the momentum, but it wasn't to be that way. Brackley remained on top, and Matt Lowe made it a brace for himself, and that killed the tie, and Alfreton Town found themselves 2 goals down. And as the clock hits 99 minutes, we bring an end to this fixture at St James Park, and it brings an end to our watch along. So thank you very much everybody for tuning in today. We've just pipped 100 viewers.
Yeah, as well as worth mentioning, Tuesday evening we play at Scunthorpe at home. We won't be live for that one because we'll be on DAZN.
We will be live on DAZN.
We've been picked for television, so we'll be doing the stream on there for DAZN. So if you have a DAZN subscription or pay for the match, you can hear our voices with footage for a change, rather than looking at our ugly mugs. you can see some football being played for a change. Sorry,
you've got to subscribe for that though.
You can pay by match.
Free.
Yeah, this is free, but we can't do both, unfortunately.
No, I'm afraid not.
But yeah, it's been a lovely afternoon. The football, not quite the same from our perspective, but I think there's positives to take from that. I thought the new system looked good. I like the 2 up front. It had some character about it. I think for 75 minutes until that first goal in, we looked pretty good. Although we were under pressure, but you're going to be against one of the top sides in the league who have just gone top with today's result. So it's bittersweet, really. You know, we never expected to win, but we looked good, and I think that's why it's a little bit more. It's a bit more of a dagger.
Yeah.
When you looked good, you looked like, you know, maybe it could be a bit of a smash and grab. You could catch them out. I'm feeling if Jake Day stays on that pitch after half time, it's a completely different game. We massively missed him after he came off, but we'll wrap it up there. Thank you everyone for tuning in here at St James Park. We won't see you on Tuesday, but we will hopefully see you on Saturday for the next live watch along. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon, and we will see you then.